How are you doing this evening?
Doing pretty good. I'm excited for this action here tonight from Indianapolis. Usually we get the joy of watching those Indy cars here at this track, but here tonight we get to watch those beautiful trucks take this course here tonight.
And it's definitely a beautiful 2.5 mile quad style oval, not a quad oval, really. It is just a giant rectangle here, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway will, and looking forward to seeing how these drivers handle the yard of bricks. Because, Will, if you didn't know, the Camping World Truck Series has never ever been to the yard of bricks in Indianapolis, and well, now the Craftsman Truck Series. They have never raced in Indy, and they never will race in Indy, most likely. They actually race at the short track down the street, Indianapolis Raceway Park, IRP. But, well, as we look starting at qualifying, starting up here, we're going to try to get you guys to the action. Currently undergoing some technical difficulties with cameras on track. But right now, though, Will, after practice, I mean, Nathan Maurer looking to continue his tear up front, setting the pace for the 53.446 in practice. He may be a driver to beat throughout this season. And the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. If you look, drivers currently on track, and I'm trying to wait and see which driver's coming down. I know Nathan Maurer, though, our points leader, is on track in his outline. But it looks like that is the 69 of Tim Hammond, I believe. So Tim Hammond right there, it looks like he is on a hot lap. So Tim Hammond, though, I mean, he's had a very solid season so far, Will. Maybe not as dominant as he would hope. Obviously, his teammate Sean Hamilton already has a win, is locked into the playoffs. But Tim Hammond's looking to find himself in victory lane before the season ends.
Yeah, Tim Hammond rocking that 69 on the side of that truck here in this series. Some races he's had to miss. He's also a producer for us here at the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. But when he does race, though, Tyler, I think it's only been a couple races where he hasn't finished inside the top 10. Really good, strong runs in those races as well. I think he had one race where he got tagged up on a caution flag lap. But other than that, it's been really consistent, really strong here in these races. So I'm curious to see. This is a hometown track for Tim Hammond here tonight, living up in Indianapolis. There was a Florida boy, now up in the snow in Indianapolis. So let's see how he does at his hometown track.
It will be very interesting, and it looks like Tim Hammond is looking to wrap up his second lap. His first lap only a 54.01 right now slotted in. Kyle Hess just ran a 53.85. That puts him up into provisionally fourth place. Looks like Tim Hammond did not have the exit he wanted there, but we have a new provisional pole, and that's Nathan Maurer running a 53.49. Only a few hundredths off what he ran in practice, where he ran a 53.45. So, Will, I mean, the dominance continues for young Nathan Maurer.
Yeah, Nathan Maurer, that 971. I felt like once he got that first win out of the way, it started to give him some confidence, started to give him a little bit more momentum to say, okay, I can get it done here in the simracerhub.com truck series. Let me see if I can get it done again. And that second win out of the way, he started feeling a little bit more confident about himself. Okay, I got 2 wins on the season. And that third win came, Tyler. Now he's really feeling himself. He's on that NBA Jam on fire here in this series.
Yeah, Kyle Hess there completing his second lap. He will not improve, only 100th second slower than his first lap, but he will currently sit in the 6th position. Brandon Broadfoot jumped up to the 5th position on his first lap, running a 53.82. Meanwhile, if you look at the rest of the field, the top 3 drivers in practice so far, your top 3 drivers in qualifying, well, that's Nate Maurer, Brady LaBeouf, and Adam Newbert. Although Brady and Adam have swapped positions from their practice, Brady moves up to 2nd through the qualifying session. Adam drops to 3rd. Right now, I believe we are still looking at Brandon Broadfoot here on his second lap. Not a great first half of the lap, a little bit slower coming down the front stretch here, passing the Pagoda. Just an iconic landmark, the lane of bricks, but he will not go any faster. It's a 54.19, so significantly slower than his first lap. As it looks like only one driver currently on track on a hot lap. That would be, I believe that's that Jason Stevenson back there. Nope, that's the 51 of Brian Chu. He is on his out lap right.
Yeah, you look at that, but you also look at that 4 machine right there in the 3rd position. Tyler, you spoke about how he has to have a good run here tonight. Look on the outside, looking into those playoff standings. Right now, qualified 3rd. It's pretty solid starting position here at Indy.
For certain, and you look at just how the top 5 has shaped up so far. I mean, you see a lot of drivers you've seen a lot of in the front throughout the season. You have Nathan Maurer, Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newbert, Sean Hamilton, Brandon Broadfoot right now. Meanwhile, controversy last week that you missed, speaking of Brady LaBeouf, Will, Brady LaBeouf, who we declared the winner when we left the broadcast last Monday night in the All-Star race at Talladega. After further review, it was determined that he jumped that final restart there on that green-white checkered, making Steve Barnett your actual race winner in the All-Star race. Steve Barnett took home a pretty nice check, I believe $100, Will, for that All-Star race win. Brady LaBeouf being sent to the last driver on the lead lap. So a little bit of controversy surrounding the All-Star race, but now these drivers are a little bit focused ahead. So we only have 4 races remaining on the season.
Yeah, and for Brady LaBeouf, I'm sure he didn't mind having to pay one of the drivers in his series. Brady LaBeouf is the boss man here at Nazareth, so even with jumping that restart, I'm sure he's bummed he didn't get the win in the All-Star race, but I'm sure he's also kind of okay with having to pay somebody winning that All-Star race as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're just waiting for the last few drivers to send a qualifying lap down track. Right now, it looks like Justin White and Brian Chu are on their second laps. None of them had a first qualifying lap they would like. Brian Chu running a 54.26, Justin White a 54.62. Both of them outside the top 15 for the time being. Justin White not going to improve enough on his second lap. We'll wait for Brian Chu to finish his. Meanwhile, though, Nathan Maurer only did a 1 lap, got the pole, didn't do a second lap. Well, maybe trying to have an advantage, trying to psych out the competition in a way, saying, I'm the dominant driver here tonight. I'm looking forward to controlling this race. But I've seen plenty of races at Indianapolis come down to tire strategy and fuel strategy. Brian Chu, though, an excellent second lap. He'll slide into 5th real quick. Well, I mean, how do you see this race playing out? 85 laps. The first stage is 22. The second stage is another 26. And then it's kind of a long race to the end here.
Yeah, I would say this race is going to be a race of patience. Patience is going to be the virtue here at Indianapolis. Very long straightaways here because you could feel like you have a run on some of these drivers. You can make big passes on the front and back straightaways. Corners aren't very long there, aren't very wide, what these drivers are used to in these trucks. So it's going to be just a waiting game on a lot of these instances throughout this race, Tyler. You just spoke about a long run to the end here at the last half of this race. So I feel like if you're a driver in this race, maybe in the top 15, you really need to get comfortable where you're at and then start calculating how you're going to get up through the grid on a long track like Indy.
And the drivers have officially ended their qualifying session. So we will take a quick look at your qualifying results here. And to the surprise of no one, Will, your top 10 rolling off quick at the front of the board. That's Nathan Maurer. Brady LaBeouf will start outside of row number 1. Row number 2 comprised of Adam Newbert and Sean Hamilton. Brian Chu, Brandon Broadfoot will make up row number 3. Row number 4 will go to Kyle Hess and Kerry Tribune. And row number 5, rounding out your top 10, will be Jason Morales and Ron Hunter. So you continue to look throughout the rest of the field. You see Chris Blanchard, Tim Hammond, another poor qualifying effort. I think Hammond would even say, Will, qualifying outside of the top 10, definitely a place he does not want to be.
Yeah, but we always see it every race here in the simracerhub.com truck series as you see the rest of the official starting grid going on your screen here for watching along with us here. Some of those drivers that are outside the top 15, maybe in the top 25, some of these drivers do sneak up through the grid and make themselves known throughout the race. There's always at least 2 or 3 drivers up there inside the top 10 that will work through that bad starting position and make themselves a contender at the end of this race.
Well, we'll take this quick little break before the drivers get rolling off to start their parade lap to talk to the pole sitter, the man who was dominant in practice and then does only one lap and gets the pole.
I mean, I did almost a full fuel run, and the tire is huge here at this flat track. So you're going to see me probably go back pretty far here in the field and, yeah, see how good we can manage tires here. I think you're going to see a couple guys shoot off, early, and I think you're going to see them falling back pretty quick back to the guys saving tires. So I warned my teammates that, and hopefully they take my advice, and all of us can finish up towards the front here tonight.
Before we let you go, Nathan, I want to just say this is probably the narrowest pit road that you will see all season long. And the corners are very similar to a racetrack that you all should have one at, in my opinion, at Pocono Raceway. The tunnel turn is modeled exactly after every Indianapolis turn. But this narrow pit road provides a unique challenge getting on and off of it, especially if you have a green flag stop, which we may in Stage 3. Have you practiced that at all? And do you think that'll play into who's going to win the race tonight?
Yeah, I practiced my entry there. I'll gauge when I have to pit with the people that I'm around. So, yeah, races are definitely on and off the pit road. So hopefully we pick a good strategy here tonight if we get some green flag pit stops here at the final stage.
Well, we appreciate you talking with us, Nathan, and hopefully we'll talk to you later on. Good luck to you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Well, that was your pole sitter, Nathan Maurer, and he seems kind of calm and collected for Nathan. Generally, he's very excited before in some of these pre-race interviews we've done with him where he's on the pole or up front. But he seems like this race he's going to kind of let come to him necessarily. He said he's going to drop to the back and kind of just run it out in a certain way. Will, do you actually expect that to happen, or do you think Nathan's going to try and control this race early on?
No, I think it's exactly what Nathan was talking about there. You don't want to get too comfortable at the top of the grid. For Nathan, though, he might need a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of a push for a race like this. Doesn't sound like he's too confident about this super long race here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A beautiful racetrack nonetheless. But still for Nathan Maurer, maybe this is what he needs to get that engine going here once again. We had that all-star break last week, and now here tonight it's back to real points races. Now let's see what the 971 can do.
Yeah, we're looking to get the over-the-top design 200 underway here at the Brickyard. Nathan Maurer will lead the field to the green. Doesn't get a great jump. Radio Buffalo remains side by side as they cross the stripe and enter the very perilous turn number 1 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Looking to try and get single file. Brady LaBeouf still looking to the outside as they round 1 and enter into that short chute, looking towards turn 2. And it looks like Brady LaBeouf will still hold serve on the outside. Adam Newbert maybe trying to get in line here. But off of 2, it's a drag race down the backstretch, and we'll go 3 wide for the lead.
Yeah, 3 wide down the backstretch right now here on lap number 1. These drivers are wasting no time getting to 3 wide. Racing is now Adam Newbert and Brady LaBeouf are side by side down into the corner number 3 right now, as it looks like Newbert will clear. The rest of the drivers are clear. Race leader here down into corner number 4. Now we're heading to the front stretch.
Brady LaBeouf took the entry into 3 very tentatively, backed out really early. That's going to make him go from second, even the lead, all the way down to 4th. He'll slot in behind Brian Shoes. The front 4 building a little bit of a gap over Brandon Broadfoot and Sean Hamilton, meanwhile. Still the race out front, single file until it looks like Kerry Tribune and Kyle Hess maybe side by side as they're battling for the 7th position there. Hess on the outside.
Yeah, Hess on the outside right now. Things are jumbled up inside the top 10. We're battling it out here as Kerry Tribune's trying to do the inside of Hamilton there in the 89 machine. We'll run out of racetrack, has to follow back behind the 89 as we're going down the backstretch right now, heading towards corner number 3. Adam Newbert, though, Tyler, starting to check out with that lead. You see Nathan Maurer starting to battle just a little bit for that second position, but right now it's the Adam Newbert show as we go into corner number 4.
Single file all throughout the top 10. First side-by-side battles back in, looks like the 14th, 15th position. That's Ron Hunter. He just got passed by, I believe, Mike Allen. Slide Hunter back to 15th. Next side-by-side battles between Justin White, but he just cleared, I want to say, Brandon Bullock for the 17th position. Drivers getting single file early on, and that's going to happen here, Will, at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where it's so important to keep maintained with the draft ahead of you on these very long straightaways.
Yeah, very long indeed. As I mentioned to start off the broadcast here tonight, it's going to be patience is that virtue here tonight. Remember that, folks, if you're watching along with us here in the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, how patient you have to be. You might be used to a super speedway race or just a regular speedway race where you can start getting excitement. You can start feeling that, you know, your heart's pumping a little bit, Tyler, throughout the race as you're making passes, starting to count the laps down. Here at Indy, you might think you're on lap 10, but you might be only on lap 5 because the base is on the distance of this track here tonight. So these drivers have to keep that in mind. There's a long way to go here in this race.
Short chutes are 1/8 of a mile long, but you spend a mile of this 2.5-mile track in the turns. These turns are long, sweeping 90-degree corners. As you have a battle there, Sean Hamilton side-by-side with Kerry Trevue as they enter 1. And you only spend just about 1.25 miles on the big, long straightaways, so only half the track is those super big, long straights down the front and the back. Everything else is the short chute and the rhythm sections of these 90-degree corners. As you look back, that's the view of Sean Hamilton's. We're looking back at Kyle Hess. He's on the tail of Kerry Trevue up ahead of him, but everyone's still single file for the most part inside the top 10.
Right now, so Newbert as our race leader. Ryan Chu, that 51 machine is second, Nathan Maurer third. You look at right behind him, Brady LaBeouf in that 9 is fourth, and our top 10 is bookended by Brandon Bradfoot in that 24 machine. As we come off the corner right now, the 4 machines still separate just a little bit from that Monster Energy machine behind him as we head down that front stretch down to corner number 1.
Brandon Bradfoot came off of 4, and he was sideways. That's going to allow Kerry Trevue to take over position number 5. Brandon Bradfoot's going to have a big run behind from Sean Hamilton, but Hamilton has nowhere to go. Meanwhile, new second-place position, that's Brian Chu. Nathan Maurer drops all the way back to 3rd now, position he has not spent a lot of time in this season, Will. We'll have to see how he handles this type of adversity as Brady LaBeouf and Kerry Trevue round out your top 5. Meanwhile, next closest battle on tracks between Mike Allen, Tyler Daniels, it looks to be for the 13th position. Just about a 10th between those drivers and Jason Morales, but still out front, Adam Newbert, who's led every lap so far.
Yeah, Adam Newbert still our clear race leader on the track right now. No pressure out of the second place machine of Brian Chu as we head down that front stretch. You see right now, though, you start to see a little bit of a run building up from Brian Chu in that second place machine as we head down to corner number 1.
And she had a great run, but not as good of a run as Kerry Trevue had. Brady LaBeouf had to check up behind Nathan Maurer. That's going to allow Kerry Trevue to slot up into the 4th position. Trevue's gained 4 spots since the start of this race. He's our biggest mover. Meanwhile, our biggest faller is Ron Hunter. He's dropped 5 from 10th to 15th. Meanwhile, Brandon Bradfoot's just kind of held serve there in that 5th, 6th position. Well, looks like he's been trying to make moves, but just doesn't have the momentum before entering any of these corners to clear or make a pass. He's got to think that's a very frustrating for a driver who definitely wants to have a good finish here tonight.
Very frustrating indeed as we're battling single file here around Indy. You don't see anything here as we start to see some drivers break out of line there, starting to build up those draft runs. But Tyler, as you talked about it just a little while ago, as now Kerry Trevue is going to go to the inside of Nathan Maurer in that 971. He will clear the 971 down into the corner now. Kerry Trevue in that 7 machine. We have to keep an eye on him as well. That 7 machine's coming off a pretty hot week last week, building up some victories. Maybe not in this series, but also feeling himself inside the cockpit of that race car here tonight.
Kerry Trevue, who was obviously one of, I think, our best competitors during the Daytona Speedway since SimRacerHub.com truck shows, has kind of tapered off in the remainder of the season, but a strong performance tonight will definitely put him right back in the middle of that championship hunt as he's already improved 5 positions on the night. He is your biggest mover so far, and it's not by a close margin. Next biggest movers, that'd be +3 positions for Robbie Richards and Brian Chu. Meanwhile, Brady LaBeouf, Nate Maurer, Sean Hamilton, all -3, so going the wrong direction. We got a battle for the lead down the front straightaway. Brian Chu inside of Adam Newbert. Looks like Brian Chu will make the pass, entering 1. So new race leader is 51, but Kerry Tribune is going to go with him underneath Adam Newbert. Make Adam Newbert's going to go from 1st to 3rd in 1 straightaway, and that's going to allow the top 5 to bundle all the way back up. And Brandon Broadfoot's inside of Brady LaBeouf.
Yeah, you can't miss Brian True on the racetrack, rocking that bright orange Monster Energy machine, as he is now the race leader on the racetrack. As now Adam Newbert, as you just touched on, down to 3rd. And you see right now, you see a lot of battles taking place. Still single file, though, after that big excitement we just had. Kerry Tribune, though, is now looking to battle for the lead.
Kerry Tribune has been the fastest driver so far tonight with a 54.4 fast lap. The only driver faster is Robbie Richards, and he's back in the middle of the pack here in a 54.35. But those two drivers have the fastest laps of the race so far, and Kerry Tribune seems to be a driver who's very comfortable in traffic. He's been able to make passes +6 now since we started this race. Definitely a driver to keep an eye out. We have to wonder, is he maybe wearing up that right front too early, too often? He had a good battle back there. Looks between the 6th and 7th position. Kyle Hess, Sean Hamilton, and Brandon Broadfoot. Brandon Broadfoot lost a lot of momentum. He's going to fall back here. He's going to get passed by. It looks like maybe even Chris Blanchard here down the back straightaway. It looks like some contact made, battling hard.
Yeah, that's the first contact we've seen here tonight from Indianapolis. And you see right there down the grid, we have a battle taking place for position on the racetrack. And you see exactly who this is. That is Brandon Bradfoot in that 24 machine, trying to hold on to his spot right there. It's like Hess to the outside, and that 86 machine were side by side down the backstretch.
This is going to get a run behind Sean Hamilton. New 2nd place position. Adam Newbert getting by Kerry Tribune. He's going to make a run back towards Brian Chu. Not enough time to make it on this front straightaway. Meanwhile, 2 by 2 entering 1. That right front's starting to wear on a lot of these drivers. These drivers need to be careful. Tim Hammond's now battling up in the mix. Christopher Blanchard almost makes contact with the outside wall off of 1. Meanwhile, it looks like Nathan Maurer is going to put the move on Kerry Tribune for position number 3. Brady LaBeouf looking to go with him here. It looks like Kerry Tribune may have used up that right front like I was talking about a little bit earlier. And it looks like Kerry Tribune is going to fall to 4th, and it looks like maybe even 5th as Brady LaBeouf goes to the inside here as they go through turn number 4 through the short chute. Brady LaBeouf gets the exit he wants. He should have a good run down this front straightaway. Still out front, Brian Chu, Adam Newbert. Those two are pulling away from Maurer and Brady LaBeouf.
You see it right there. Brady LaBeouf's been pretty strong here tonight, currently inside the top 5, 4th. Saw him battling for the lead there in those first couple of laps. Still trying to hold on. He's got a fast truck behind him. Kerry Tribune. Sean Hamilton's drifted back a little bit as well, down 2 spots. Look down the grid a little bit more there, Tyler. Look at Robbie Richards in that 48, up 5 spots from the drop of the green flag. And Tim Hammond, we talked about that name here tonight. Hometown track for him, up 3 spots from the drop of the green flag, currently in 9th.
And Tim Hammond's having a good drive so far, but the better drive is the driver just got by him. That's Robbie Richards in the 48 machine. Robbie Richards finding himself in the right place at the right time. He's +5 on the night so far. He's looking good. He had the fastest lap of the race so far. Meanwhile, though, back out front, it's still Brian Chu, Adam Newbert, Nate Maurer, Brady LaBeouf, Kerry Tribune, your top 5. And Nate Maurer and Brady LaBeouf have some work to do if they want to catch on to the back of Adam Newbert and Brian Chu. A little bit of a gap forming there, almost a second.
Yeah, half a second indeed, as Adam Newbert right there in the 2nd place truck. You can see that distance here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. As now, you see Adam Newbert trying to put on some pressure on Brian Chu in that 51 machine. You see he's going to a little bit of a run there, Tyler, down the backstretch, but is it going to be enough down into the corner? It looks like Brian Chu is going to try to hold on down into corner number 3, as now Adam Newbert will pull off to the inside in that 4 machine. See if a pass takes place, and it does. Adam Newbert makes the pass, our new race leader.
Yeah, Brian Chu backed up the entry, thought about trying to make a crossover work, but Adam Newbert was able to stick to that bottom of turn number 3. Get through there very easily, and he'll take the lead down the front straightaway. He should be able to hold the lead at least this lap, probably another one as well, pretty comfortably there up front. But that allowed Nathan Maurer and Brady LaBeouf to close the gap a little bit to these front 2. These drivers have just 10 laps remaining in stage number 1, and you can tell the tires are starting to wear. We have a significant gap from 5th to 6th, almost 2.5 seconds. and really a significant gap from 4th to 5th, nearly 3/4 of a second. So you're starting to see drivers separate, and you're seeing the cream rise to the top. And that's your front four right now. Adam Newbert, Brian Chu, Nathan Maurer, and Brady LaBeouf. They look to be the dominant drivers here early on.
Early here in Indianapolis, lap 13. Top designs, 200 here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. We went all-star racing last weekend at Talladega. Tyler touched on what happened in that race. Brady LaBeouf had to relinquish that win at the end. It was a DQ. Here tonight, though, he is currently inside the top 5, trying to make up for that maybe a little bit of an embarrassing run there in the All-Star race. But here tonight, he wants to get that 9 machine back in victory lane.
Those we're looking at drivers who have had solid seasons so far, maybe not having the finish they want. Raul Meza currently in the last truck on the lead lap, all the way down in 23rd position. Definitely not the night he was hoping for. Definitely struggled. May have gotten into the wall early on. Not entirely sure what happened. Raul Meza. Meanwhile, another driver is struggling on track. That's Sean Hamilton. You just saw 2 drivers get around him. That includes Robbie Richards and Tim Hammond. Robbie Richards now up 6 from his starting position. Kyle Hess, though, leading that second pack about 3 to 4 seconds behind the leaders, and about 2.5 seconds behind Carriage Review, who's also a second behind that lead pack of 4.
Yeah, here, Tyler, on lap 14, as we're watching, Adam Newbert still our race leader. Some of the things that we didn't get a chance to talk about here at the start of this race. Now we're going to cross this line here on the front stretch, make it lap 15, going down to corner number 1. These drivers here tonight will have 4 sets of tires on these trucks, the 100% fuel capacity. Which do you think, Tyler, is going to be the biggest thing here tonight, the tires or the fuel?
It has to be the tires. You can take 1 at each of the stage breaks, and you only have 1 additional set to use, probably in the middle of that 3rd stage, and we're already seeing the tires play a factor. Lap times are almost 2 seconds off of what we expect the peak lap to be tonight. We're running low 56s currently inside the top 4. Top times earlier were low 54, so we're definitely seeing some spacing out. Brian Chu has fallen off from the lead 3, and really Nathan Maurer and Brady LaBeouf have fallen from Newbert. Newbert looks to be shot out of a cannon. He's clear by almost half a second over Maurer and LaBeouf. Those two probably need to work together if they want to compete here for the stage win, as we're coming to lap number 16, completing lap number 15 of 85, but only 22 laps in this first stage here in Indianapolis. All so far run under green flag, Will. And I got to say, that's kind of impressive for Indianapolis, where that outside wall can catch up to you pretty quickly.
Yeah, it can indeed. It's a bit tricky. It's tricky for those Indy cars that we love watching race here every May. But now here tonight, we get these wonderful trucks. And Tyler, you touched on it here. The trucks have never come to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So a bit of a treat for these drivers here tonight to take on the bricks and see who can kiss the bricks at the end of this race here tonight.
And we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, it's the 3rd oldest paved track in the paved oval in the United States. The only 2 older tracks are Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut and the Milwaukee Mile, which the Real World Craftsman Truck Series is returning to this year, which is a track I'm so glad that is back on the schedule. Just an absolute fun mile-long raceway in Wisconsin. But this right here, though, is the granddaddy of them all, the largest sports venue in the world, seating well over 250,000 people, and it is fully packed here every May for the Indy.
Yeah, as we watch right now, Brady LaBeouf has a run on Nathan Maurer right there. He is on the back bumper of the 971 machine as we head down into the corner, see if he has enough here at the end of the stage to increase his finishing position or make a run on Adam Newbert in that 4 machine as we head down to the corner right now. He's still using that draft, Tyler, trying to reel himself into the 971, see if he can put anything on the 4 as we head down the front stretch.
Yeah, right now I think Brady LaBeouf's just biding his time. They're trying to get to 5 laps to go on the stage. They should be there this time by, but it looks like the 2 of them are reeling in your leader, Adam Newbert. Meanwhile, Sean Hamilton has lost 6 positions from the start. Brandon Broadfoot's lost 8. Ron Hunter has lost 5. Sean Hamilton may not finish inside the top 10 at this rate. He's under pressure from Tyler Daniels back there for the 10th position, the end of stage number 1 here, and that's a point towards the season-long playoffs. The nice thing for Sean Hamilton, though, Will, he already has a win. He doesn't have to worry about points. So that's what we're talking about when the importance of getting a win in these seasons. Sean Hamilton not having the night he's wanted so far, Will, but it doesn't really matter because he's already locked in.
Yeah, and that's the thing I touched on as well, Tyler, here on lap 18 as we watch, keep an eye out on the 9 machine and Brady LaBeouf. For some of those drivers that are right on the cusp, let's say you're inside the top 10, top 15 in points, and then a surprise driver comes along and gets that win and locks themselves in the playoffs, that could push you down the table into that elimination zone. So for some of these drivers here tonight, although your season's been going pretty good, you have some great finishes along the way, you need to get that W to lock yourself in.
Nathan Maurer starting to pull away from Brady LaBeouf a little bit. Brian Chu, meanwhile, realizing that he's not going to catch this front three, he's trying to break the draft of the drivers behind him in order to ensure he has a solid fourth place finish here at the end of the stage number one. Meanwhile, though, Nathan Maurer has been slowly reeling in Adam Newbert. They ran the exact same lap time last time by, but he is definitely gaining on the other last few laps. Meanwhile, that battle for 10th is very tight. Tyler Daniels to the inside of Sean Hamilton here off of number 2. That is a battle to watch here for that final stage point. That's allowed Christopher Blanchard, who has not had the start to this race he's wanted, to maybe even compete for a stage in stage number 1.
Yes, Tyler Daniels goes to the inside of Hamilton in that 89 machine. Hamilton has run into quicksand here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He is going backwards here tonight as he is down to 11th, maybe 12th. As now Chris Blanchard's to the inside. He will run out of racetrack, though, and fall back behind the 89 machine right there of Hamilton. And Tyler, what could be causing this, let's say, this downfall of Sean Hamilton in that 89 machine, down 7 spots from the drop of the green flag?
It could be anything as simple as overdriving your entry, so you're having to use more wheel input, therefore wearing that right front too. He's not getting enough clean air to the nose of that truck in the corners. I know it's really difficult here at Indianapolis, but really there's one lane, and it's the bottom. You have to find your apex perfectly, or you're going to have to lift off the corner late in the run. And he's just worn that right front down. He doesn't have the speed he wants anymore. He doesn't have the trust in his truck through the corners, and he's going to allow Christopher Blanchard to go to his outside here. That's a pass Blanchard's probably not going to be able to make, as Hamilton had to get really tight there, had to really slow down on the apex. That's going to allow Tyler Daniels to kind of pull away here and maybe solidify a stage point as we look back towards the front, though. Adam Newbert now has 0.8 of a second lead over Nate Maurer. He was significantly faster that time by, almost half a second faster than Nate Maurer. Indiana must have had something a little bit off that time by 56.93, 0.3 slower than Brady LaBeouf behind him, but significantly slower than most of the drivers he's been putting similar lap times against. But meanwhile, Nathan Maurer is still trying to chase down your leader, Adam Newbert.
Yeah, and you look at those lap times there, Tyler. You just saw our leader run a 56.4. The second place machine right there ran a 56.9. Again, Brady LaBeouf still got a 56.6, but then the rest of the fields are running 57s. You have a couple other guys, 56.9, 56.8, 56.7. But other than that, the rest of the field is a full second off of our race leader, Adam Newbert.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers are running 57s. The field has gotten spread out. Currently, it looks to be 23 on the lead lap. Meanwhile, Kyle Meza is about 31 seconds behind the leaders. We are the last lap of stage number 1. Adam Newbert, a controlling 0.7 of a second lead over Nate Maurer and Brady LaBeouf. Really, the first close battle is a group of trucks. Kyle Hess, Robbie Richards, Tim Hammond, and Carriage Speed. You see them right there on your screen. Kyle Hess has his rear view full of Robbie Richards and Tim Hammond for the time being. Robbie Richards and Tim Hammond +7 and +5 positions respectively from their starting spots, though. They seem to have fast hot rods. Once they get track position, maybe they'll be able to compete for the lead.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about there, Tyler. Of course, with these stage breaks, we're going to have those yellow flags, which is going to give the field a chance to essentially grid back up there and battle it out as we come into the last couple corners here in stage number 1. I am curious to see with some of these drivers here that made big runs in stage number 1, if they can continue that momentum in stage number 2.
Well, meanwhile, stage number 1 will go to Adam Newbert in dominating fashion. He'll win the stage by 0.7 of a second. Look throughout the rest as we're waiting for the caution to come out. Nate Maurer will finish 2nd, Brady LaBeouf 3rd, Brian Chu 4th, Kyle Hess 5th, Robbie Richards 6th, Tim Hammond 7th, Kerry Richardview 8th after going up through the field, falling back to his original starting position. Jason Morales 9th, and Tyler Daniels getting that last stage point over Sean Hamilton and Chris Blanchard. He'll round out your top 10 here. As we'll go to a quick commercial break, these drivers will have a round of pit stops, and then we'll stop with your stage 1 winner, Adam Newbert. back live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway here at the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Your Stage 1 winner is Adam Newbert. We're going to be joined by him right now. Adam Newbert with Stick With It Motorsports, winning Stage number 1 in dominating fashion, in my opinion, over Nathan Maurer. What were you able to find there late in the run that allowed you to pull away from Nathan and Brady LaBeouf?
I can't tell y'all all my secrets.
Well, that's understandable, Adam. Though, what was the right front challenge, especially with how much I know that the tires wear here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and did the tire wear really play a factor in how that end of stage ended up being?
I'm just playing with y'all. Yeah, it definitely my truck got really, really tight there at the end of that run. If we'd have kept going, I definitely was going to burn that right front up. Split the keys just to try to back your corners up here and not go as hard into the corner and save the right rear as well. Make sure you're not burning up the right rear on the exit. So, felt pretty good about that first stage. Slid through my pit box, so I cost myself a couple spots right here on this restart. So, cut down those mistakes. We might be all right.
Well, we wish you the best of luck the rest of the way here, Adam. Hopefully we'll be talking to you after this.
I appreciate it, guys. Good to see y'all up there.
Good to see you, too. That was your Stage 1 winner, Adam Newbert, and he seemed pretty ecstatic, Will. I mean, definitely a lot more energetic than Nathan in our pre-race.
Yeah, definitely. Once you got comfortable on this race, we talked to him before the race started. Didn't seem like he was totally comfortable inside that truck here tonight. Once you started to feel the ends and flow so far there in stage number 1, now starting to get that energy back inside that cockpit. Watch out for him here in stage number 2.
Yeah, it looks like after pit stops have cycled through, Brady LaBeouf will be your race leader. Nathan Maurer second, Newbert third, Brian Chu fourth, Kyle Hess fifth, Kerry Treview sixth, Robbie Richards seventh, Tim Hammond eighth, Jason Morales ninth, and Sean Hamilton rounding out your top 10. So we're looking forward to going green here again. Will take us to the green flag once that truck pulls onto the pit straight.
Here we go. We're going to go green flag racing here once again in stage number 2. This is the over-the-top designs 200 here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. As now, our race leader, Brady LaBeouf, takes us across the line down to corner number 1.
Brady LaBeouf getting a much better start than Nathan Maurer did on the initial start of this race. He'll be well clear through 1 and looking towards 2 after the short shoot. Meanwhile, Brian Chu's going to fall into the clutches of Kyle Hess through number 2. And maybe even Robbie Richards. He's going to try and find a spot. Can he? No, but it looks like Kyle Hess will come up in front of Brian Chu and give him the draft down the back straightaway.
Things are getting very dicey right now inside the top 10. As now Adam Newbert goes to the inside. The 971 on Nathan Maurer. He has a huge run going down into corner number 3. Now he's going to try to go for our race leader, Brady LaBeouf. Speed there in the corner. As we go into corner number 4, though, he's going to try to hold that draft. As now we exit corner number 4 to the front stretch.
Everyone trying to get single file here early on. First side-by-side battles. Tyler Daniels to the inside of Jason Morales. He has no drafting out, but Sean Hamilton dives to the bottom of Kerry Treview there throughout the back straightaway. Those drivers are 2 by 2 as they enter down the front straightaway. Entering 1, chaos as we enter 1. Everyone trying to get it sorted out. Morales now to the inside. It looks to be Kerry Treview. Yes, it is. So Morales, Tyler Daniels backing out of that situation wisely.
You see Kerry Treview in that 7. We just spoke about him here in this series. Has some wins in a different series. But here tonight needs to get that 7 in victory lane, as well as Jason Morales and that 5 machine. We spoke about how he's just inside that cut line with a race victory here tonight. Will lock himself in. And Tyler, I couldn't ask for a better track to lock yourself into the playoffs, winning one of the longest racetracks we're going to see all season.
And probably the most iconic racetrack in all of motorsports here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Right now, though, out front, it's Brady LaBeouf. He has a little bit of a 0.2 second lead over Adam Newbert. Meanwhile, though, it's 0.6 back to Nathan Maurer. He's got company from Kyle Hess and Robbie Richards, who's now found himself inside the top 5, plus 8 positions since the start of this race. He's looking to bring Tim Hammond with him, who's plus 5 and sitting in 7th.
Yeah, Tim Hammond right there in the 7th. Look at Robbie Richards. You just touched on it there. Kyle Hess now trying to put some pressure on Nathan Maurer in that 971. As we're down the backstretch right now, you see if he can get there in that 86, just waiting his time like a lion in the jungle, ready to pounce on its prey. You see that 86 machine just looking for that window of opportunity. We're going to ride on board right now with Robbie Richards, who has a courtside seat to the action in front of him.
Meanwhile, Adam Newbert last time by set the fastest lap of the race. It's a 54.25. Meanwhile, though, he didn't really gain much on Brady LaBeouf. He's now currently 4/10 second back, so this last lap was significantly lower. As soon as I say that, Brady LaBeouf sets the fastest lap of the race. That's a 54.18. He has a half-second lead over Adam Newbert for the meanwhile.
Very, very fast so far in that 9 machine. Brady LaBeouf, I like to say, using a little bit of that Bayou energy here tonight. Rocks those LSU colors on that thing. Every race here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, the boss man here at Nazareth. But that doesn't take away from his on-track talent. Still our race leader, leading him around the corner right now. As you see, Adam Newbert's patiently trying to work himself up to the top of the grid. As you see, Nathan Maurer, though, has got some heat on his tail right there with the likes of Hess and Robbie Richards in that 48.
Stage 2 will end on at the end of lap 48. But I will say, well, this is the most spread out we've seen the front two this early on in the stage so far. Brady LaBeouf now 0.8 of a second lead over Adam Newbert, who has an 0.8 of a second gap behind him to Nathan Maurer. And then we're all bunched up there. Looks like a group of 5 trucks led by Nathan Maurer all the way to Tim Hammond. And then it's a second and a half back to Sean Hamilton, who has Kerry Tribune and Tyler Daniels right on his rear bumper. They're battling for position there between Tribune and Hamilton as they go through the short chute.
You see right there, taking an eye out on that battle. But we see Hamilton in that 89 machine. We watched him there in stage number 1. Try to fight that truck around the racetrack. Maybe a pit stop at run right now as we enter into the corner. An inch just ahead of Kerry Tribune, but then on the exit of the corner, Kerry can get side by side with him once again. As now we're heading down the front stretch here. A battle is taking place right now to stay inside the top 10.
And Tyler Daniels going with, it looks like Sean Hamilton on the inside. Correction, Tyler Daniels, last driver inside the top 10. Jason Morales, though, joining the party, making this a battle for the last few points in the stage. But we still have, looks like 17 laps to go until stage number 2 is decided. But meanwhile, these two drivers side by side through 1 and 2. Again, just impressive driving by Hamilton, but it looks like Tribune will take the position here off the 2.
You see right there, Kerry Tribune building up a very good run so far here tonight. As just in front of these guys, we have another battle taking place right there. As we see Tim Hammond trying to put it on Brian Chu right there. We also see Robbie Richards trying to get past Hess right there in that 86 machine. A few battles now taking place here on lap 32.
Meanwhile, Nathan Mauer's going to use this as a way to get away from this group of 5. But Tim Hammond will dive to the inside of Brian Chu, trying to make a pass here as they enter 1. And then he'll look to set his sights on Robbie Richard, who has his sights there on Kyle Hess. A little bit of a scrape of the wall there maybe for Kyle Hess as they enter 1. Meanwhile, though, Brady LaBeouf and Adam Newbert are the second clear of Nate Maurer, but Brady LaBeouf's almost the second clear of Adam Newbert. So really the front 3 are really spread out here early on in stage number 2.
Yeah, they are spread out. They're 1 and 2, but all the other positions on the racetrack are a single file line down the backstretch right now. What a beautiful shot that is here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network as we dig down to corner number 3.
And no one's willing to get out of that line because they don't want to lose the draft down these long straightaways here. Meanwhile, though, Robbie Richards tucked up well behind Kyle Hess. He's going to try and back up his entry in 4 and get a good run down here the front straightaway. See if he can make a pass on Kyle Hess. It looks like he'll be too far back, though, this time by. He'll be out a little tight behind the 86 machine of Hess. Meanwhile, though, still back out front, that's Brady LaBeouf with Adam Newbert and Nate Maurer. Still your top 3. Kyle Hess, Robbie Richards rounding out your top 4.
And here on lap 34 right now. You just touched on it there. Our race leader still Brady LaBeouf. Adam Newbert's about a second off the pace. Nathan Mauer's about 1.8 off the pace right there. It drops down to the 86 machine of Kyle Hess, about 2 seconds off the pace around lap 34. But Tyler, my question to you is what I've been seeing so far here is no caution flags yet. And what I've seen so far is most drivers prefer that inside lane to make passes. Is that what we're going to see here tonight? A lot of these drivers just waiting their turn to go to the inside?
It's going to be a mix of that. It's all about having a run so you can get to the inside of that driver before you enter the next corner. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you see every year in May. It's a 1-lane racetrack. It's really hard to make passes in the corners. You're going to make almost all your passes on the straightaways while side-by-side entering the corner and getting that position. Meanwhile, the gap between second and third, has closed significantly. Nathan Maurer turning on the jets, it seems, out of nowhere. Ran a 54.99 last lap by. That was 0.3 faster than your leader, Brady LaBeouf, and almost 0.5 faster than Adam Newbert. He's closed the gap significantly. There's a battle for second brewing.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out on that up here in the booth. The official scoring here, Nathan Maurer, I just watched those lap times go by. Brady LaBeouf was very fast that previous lap. Then all of a sudden, as you mentioned, Nathan Maurer found that nitrous oxide tank inside of that cockpit. Let that thing let out just a little bit. Put forth that 54.9 as we're still watching here as we're down the front stretch here on lap 35, make it 36 down to corner number 1.
Ryan Chu is company to his inside. That's Kerry Tribune, and that number 7 machine. Meanwhile, Sean Hamilton, Tyler Daniels, and Jason Moreno is all behind them trying to figure it out. Hamilton dives to the inside of Brian Chu in 1. He's looking to take the position. He should get it through here in the short chute, and he's going to bring Tyler Daniels with him to the inside as they go through number 2.
Yeah, we're very bunched up right here on corner number 2. This is for a top 10 spot. Right now you have drivers of the likes of Tyler Daniels in that 95, Sean Hamilton at 89. Kerry Tribune's a little bit further up from this pack. You see Jason Morales now inside the top 10 as well. Some other battles taking place. Christopher Blanchard's trying to hold off Justin White in that 2 machine just outside of the top 10 and 12th and 13th. You go down a little bit more. We have another battle brewing right there. Brendan Bradfoot in that 24 machine's trying to increase his position, getting around the 30 of Ron Hunter for 14th. A lot of battles on the racetrack. No battles with the lead, though, as Brady LaBeouf still our race leader by a full second on the racetrack.
Brandon Broadfoot's day going from bad to worse, so it looks like he may have made contact with the wall again. He's dropped 9 positions from the start. Meanwhile, Justin White and Chris Blanchard look to maybe be working together and trying to close the gap on the trucks ahead of them. They were pushing each other down these long straightaways, but it looks like maybe White's backed off a little bit from Blanchard here through that short chute. Meanwhile, the gap to the leader between Newbert and LaBeouf, that's about 1.2 seconds. Coming down a little bit, maybe Maurer's trying to work with Newbert in the same way that Blanchard and White are working together, so trying to maybe make this a little bit more competitive of a stage 2. But right now, Brady LaBeouf, the dominant truck out front.
Brady LaBeouf, as mentioned, is using a little bit of that Bayou energy here tonight in that 9 machine. Already has a race victory here in this series. Tyler trying to make 2 wins on the season here tonight. As Adam Newbert in that 4 machine, he is catching them just a little bit each lap by. It's not too far of a gap now. Tyler was a full second a couple laps ago. You know, Brady LaBeouf's still faster on the racetrack. But here on lap 38, we're going to race it down. Another 11 laps to go here in stage number 2.
11 left in the stage. Make it 10.5 now as the leaders are on the back straightaway. Kyle Hess over a second behind Nathan Maurer, who's in 3rd. He has Robbie Richards and Tim Hammond still well tucked behind him on the back straightaway. If I'm Robbie Richards, I'm trying to work with us to maybe close the gap to Nathan Maurer and Adam Newbert ahead of us. But it looks like they just don't have the speed through the corners right now to make that work. Although it looks like Kyle's gaining a little bit back there through 3, but he's going to lose it back here in 4.
Yeah, as you watch Kyle Hess trying to hold off the 48 of Robbie Richards there, Tyler. A question that I wanted to propose to you as well here on Make It Lap 39 here in the over-the-top designs 200. Is this a racetrack that, you know, we see it at Talladega, we see it at Daytona. Can you tandem race here, use that draft to your advantage, and possibly catch the likes of Brady LaBeouf and Adam Newbert? Or is this a racetrack that you really just have to ride that momentum around and hope to catch the leaders?
Yes and no. You can on the long straightaways, but you have to have enough of a gap to the truck ahead of you entering 3 and entering 1 that it doesn't drastically affect your ability to take the corner, because these trucks do get a very big aero push here at these fast, very flat banked, only 9 degrees of banking here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway corners. Not as noticeable through 4 and 2. Obviously, you're already at a lower speed, so it's a little bit easier to get the truck turned entering those corners. But entering 1 and 3, where you're at the highest speeds on track, you have to have a little bit of clean air in order to get that nose pointed down.
Yeah, and just the last time by, Brady LaBeouf still faster than Adam Newbert in the 2nd place position. Look down that official scoring though, Tyler. You know, you're looking at positions all the way down to about 8th. Our drivers still running 54s. Other than that, it's starting to slip into like the 55 range a little bit, 56 range, down to about the 9th position. And what that indicates to me, Tyler, is that as this race is playing out, as we're in these green flag runs now, we haven't had a caution all night long. the longer these runs go, the more these lap times tend to slow down, and it's affecting drivers inside the top 10. So what that could bode well for is Adam Newbert, Brady LaBeouf. They have no pressure now from other drivers inside the top 10, as their lap times are almost a full second faster.
Yeah, and these drivers, the benefit is they have no pressure behind them, but also they can look forward, and by looking forward, they don't have a truck in front of them per se that's going to affect their line, affect how that truck says. It looks like Jason Morales gets Tyler Williams there for the 9th position. These drivers who are up front in cleaner air have that advantage, and they can run their lines. But like you said, the fall off is noticeable. Brady LaBeouf's fastest lap of the race, which is the fastest lap of the race, 54.18. Last lap, he ran a 55.83. That's 1.7 seconds slower, and he's only, I believe, at less than 20 laps into this run. He's about 16 laps into this run after caution laps are counted. So Brady LaBeouf kind of, finding that balance here of running hard early, building a lead, but he also ensured that Adam Newbert doesn't get a draft off of him. And that's holding it a huge advantage here right now as we enter the latter parts of the stage.
No, it sure is. And Adam Newbert there in the second position must just feel very lonely all by himself in second. The next closest truck on the racetrack would be Nathan Maurer, but he's almost a full second away from Adam Newbert. Adam Newbert's a full second away from Brady LaBeouf. So for Adam Newbert in that 4 machine here on lap 42, it's just a lonely place to be right now there, Tyler. You have nobody to work with, nobody to play with, so to say, as we're down the backstretch right now heading into corner number 3. Nathan Maurer is the only truck really that he can see in his rear view. The rest of the guys, they're on the racetrack, as now we have a battle heading down into corner number 3. This is Tim Hammond trying to put it on the 48. As we enter in the corner, he will get that position from Robbie Richards. Tim Hammond up 1 spot here on the racetrack.
Yeah, Tim Hammond takes over the 5th position from Robbie Richards, but they have fallen off the back of Kyle Hess here, almost a full second behind that 86 machine who moved up in the 4th quite comfortably. So yeah, that front 5 group, they have a significant gap between all of them. The closest two are Richards and Hammond. Hammond's significantly faster than Richards, I believe, at the time being. And then another big gap back to Sean Hamilton, who leads Kerry Tribune and Jason Morales. But that is a tight pack of threes. Jason Morales dives to the inside and one.
Jason Morales in the 5 machines trying to get by Kerry Tribune in the 7. What a battle we have right now down into the corner. This is for 8th on the racetrack. As there's no battles for the lead, there are battles for position right now as we head down that back stretch there. So side by side down to 3.
That battling allowed Tyler Daniels to pull back up into contention here for the 8th, 9th, and 10th positions. And this battle is going to allow Christopher Blanchard and Justin White to come into the picture here soon. Kerry Tribune drops to 10th. Tyler Daniels clears through number 3. They're going to enter 4 here. And Chris Blanchard and Justin White have closed the gap. So those two drivers are also now going to be competing for stage points here as we enter the final 5 laps of stage number 2. Still out front, Brady LaBeouf by over a full second. Then a full second between Newbert and Maurer. And then another full second and a half from Maurer to Kyle Hess. And then 3/4 of a second back to Tim Hammond. So significant gaps throughout the top 5.
Yeah, significant gaps indeed. And some surprises for me so far here tonight, Tyler. Look at the likes of Ryan True in that 51 machine, now down 8 spots from the drop of the green flag. We saw him running inside the top 5 there in stage number 1. He's down the grid a significant amount. We look at Brendan Bradfoot in that 24 machine, was running very strong as well. Down the 14th position, Ron Hunter in the 30, also down 5 spots from the drop of the green flag in 15th. And you know, folks at home, if you watch on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, you'd say, okay, that's not a bad running position, 13th, 14th, 15th, that's not bad. But Tyler, you didn't look at the split. They're about 12 seconds, 13 seconds off the pace of our race leader. So essentially, they could be almost at the end of the line or dead last, being 13 seconds off the pace.
And the problem with that is here when the points are as close as they are for these final positions at the end of the year to get into the playoffs, Cody obviously not having the night he needs, being 16th in points, running 17th. So obviously there's going to be a loss of a few points somewhere tonight for Cody. Nowhere near any stage points. Morales to the outside of Hamilton. It's hard to make a pass to the outside here, but Morales is going to try and make it work. He's going to see if he can bring Tyler Daniels with him down the back straightaway. But like you were saying, when a lot of these drivers needed better performances, Brian Chu's probably a little bit on the safer side. But drivers like Ron Hunter and Brandon Bradfoot really needed solid finishes tonight. And being where they are, losing significant number of positions here early on in this race already is not going to help them in the championship picture.
Definitely not. And just to touch on another driver we spoke about in the point standings here on lap 46 as our race leader. So taking us around, that's Bray LaBeouf. In the 9 is Raul Meza in that 37 machine, up 2 spots from the drop of the green flag in the 18th position. Almost a full 20 seconds off the pace of our leader. And for Raul, we're starting to count down the races here, Tyler. It's a long season here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, but this is about the time that you need to start racking up some good finishes. You don't need to win per se. Maybe a couple top fives, maybe a couple top tens to make sure you're comfortable in those points. Raul Meza here tonight running in the 18th position. It's not the type of run that he was looking for here tonight.
And we were talking, though, about Adam Newberg, 37 points behind the cutoff coming into this race. Generally, it is a win-and-you're-in type scenario, but that is only if you meet the minimum number of races. That would be all starts except for 2 in the regular season. Adam Newberg has already missed 3 starts on the regular season. Therefore, Adam Newberg does not automatically get into the playoffs if he wins a race. He must still be top 16 in points along with his win in order to make the playoffs, Will. That is a big difference for him versus a lot of these other drivers who have ran the significant number of races like Brandon Bullock, Hunter, Michael Allen, Donnie Lyons, Charles Keller Jr., Curtis Rogers. All those drivers have run enough minimum races where they are winning in no matter what. Adam Newberg does not have that advantage.
Exactly, but we've seen what can happen if you can get that one win out of the way. The likes of Nathan Maurer, once he got that first victory, you could almost hear in his voice in victory lane, he was relieved. He was okay with getting that first victory. And what happened? He won a second one. What happened after that? He won a third. So for Adam Newberg in that fourth, or for a lot of these drivers here in tonight's field, as we're on lap 47, we got one more lap to go here in stage number 2. As long as you can get that first win out of the way, that could just take a lot of pressure off yourself to be like, okay, now that I can get it done, let's get it done again.
That lead gap has shrunk, though, here. We have 3/4 of a second between the leaders, but meanwhile, the first battle is for position on position number 3. That's Kyle Hess to the inside of Nathan Maurer for third. Can he make the move through 2? He's looking to clear himself down the back straightaway. Kyle Hess slides up to the 3rd position. Nathan Maurer slides back to 4th. So that means your new top 5 is Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newberg, Kyle Hess, Nate Maurer, Tim Hammond here, as they're going to come around here to take the green and white checkered flag in stage number 2. No other significant battles for position except for maybe Kerry Tribune with Justin White, but he looks to be a little too far back right now. I guess it looks like Tyler Daniels and Sean Hamilton there for 7th, but Brady LaBeouf should take home stage number 2 here. He'll cross the line, win stage number 2. Brady LaBeouf, the boss man. Stage 2 here, Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the over-the-top designs 200. Adam Newberg 2nd, Kyle Hess 3rd, Nate 4th, Tim Hammond 5th, Robbie Richards 6th, Sean Hamilton will come 7th, barely over Tyler Daniels, who will be 8th, Chris Blanchard 9th, and Kerry Tribune will round out your points-paying positions just ahead of Justin White, who finishes 11th. So, well, Brady LaBeouf gets the job done, got out to a big lead early on in the stage, was able to hold on throughout, but Adam Newberg was coming late in the run, and stage 3 is significantly longer than the first 2 stages.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We're looking, almost around 30 laps or so there in the final runs. We'll see what comes into play, maybe even some green flag pit stops at the end of this race here tonight, Tyler, but so far, it's been the 9 machine of Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newberg in the 4, but as you mentioned, there are some other drivers that are starting to slowly but surely work their way up the field here tonight. Looking at Robbie Richards in that 48, Tim Hammond in that 69, and you can't forget about the 95 of Tyler Daniels, who's been stinky fast as well.
Yes, Tyler Daniels definitely has. As these drivers catch back up to the pace truck as they'll pick him up off of 2. These drivers will go through their round of pit stops. We'll be back in the booth. We'll take a quick break. We'll show you all the pit stops live, and then you'll hear from us again after stops are complete. We are back here live from the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now, what happened under that pit cycle there? Well, definitely a big shuffle up. Nathan Maurer goes from 4th all the way back to 16th.
Yeah, we were both surprised when we were off the air for a second there in the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. Not the only driver to suffer from that last pit stop. Looking at Tim Hammond down 4 spots down in the 16th position. He was currently inside the top 10. Ryan Chu now down in the 19th position as well. So a lot of these guys have been very fast here tonight. Now have to work themselves back through that field and try to work their way up to the grid, as a lot of the other drivers are trying to do there in stage number 2.
Yeah, we're looking at our field window of 25 to 30 laps, but we're going to quickly be joined by our Stage 2 winner. Stage 2 winner, Brady LaBeouf, the boss man. Brady, you got out to a big lead early on in Stage 2 and held it pretty much throughout the end until Adam Newbert started to close there in the final few laps. Yeah, were you worried about him catching up to you at the end?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he was about a tenth or two faster than me towards the last couple of laps, Tyler. I think I did a good job, though, conserving throughout the whole run. It was kind of surprising myself, but the track's changing a lot with the shade coming down.
I know we talked in the pre-race a fuel window is about 25 to 30 laps. Do you think any driver will be able to stretch it to make it at 33 laps here tonight, or are we going to see green flags?
We should see green flag pit stops. That's what the boys and I were talking about right before this interview. I know it looks like we're about 3 to 4 laps short, so I don't know. I think somebody's going to try it, definitely.
Well, we'll let you get back on as we're going to go green here shortly, but thanks for talking with us. Brady LaBeouf, your leader, will take the field to the green flag. Had to let him go. A little bit of a quick turnaround there, but Brady LaBeouf back to his outside as we are green flag racing. Adam Newbert gets a big jump there, pushing Brady LaBeouf clear. Brady LaBeouf will have a big gap, and Adam Newbert will even take over second place over Kyle Hess as we enter turns 1 and 2 through the short chute. Meanwhile, the field kind of stacks up behind, and a name we haven't seen up front most of the night, Will, that's Justin White. He's sitting in 6th.
Yeah, a lot of new names inside the top 10 right now. As we head down that backstretch, we have a battle for the lead brewing, though, as it looks like Adam Newbert thought about it. Now he's back to thinking about it again. To the inside of Brady LaBeouf, down into corner number 3. This is the only battle for position we have, going all the way back to about 10th or 11th. Adam Newbert will get that position. Our new race
Yeah, Brady LaBeouf looks like he said, it's early on. We know we have to make pit stops. Just take it. We'll figure it out later on in the race, and that's what he is. But you're looking at Nathan Maurer, Tim Hammond, trying to work through the field together. They have Robbie Richards, another very fast driver who got mired back in the pack. They've already moved up to positions 13 through 15. They've gotten by the likes of Donnie Lyons and Cody Knott. Meanwhile, though, another big mover, we talked about him kind of struggling all the race long. Raul Meza been back in the bottom teens. He's up to 8th right now on track with Ron Hunter in 9th. So a lot of moving pieces here during these last cycle of pit stops, there we go.
Yeah, and that's why I love stage breaks, because it gives an opportunity for some drivers, no fault of your own, if you're running in that tail end of the pack, the 18th, 19th, 20th position, you can rely on that pit stop to get you back into a better position on the racetrack. And you just touched on it there. Raul Meza now up 12 spots from the drop of the green flag. We talked about him running about the 19th, 20th position not too long ago, right before the end of that stage. Now gets a chance to battle inside the top 10 and put that 37 in contention as we head down the front stretch here at Indy. Make it lap 54 down to corner number 1.
We're seeing the snaking technique already happening early on. Adam Newbert making everyone in the top 5 go from the top to the bottom, back to the top before they enter 1 and 2. Meanwhile, though, Tyler Daniels just got around Justin White, I believe, for position number 6. So Tyler Daniels moving himself up through the field slowly but surely so far tonight. Meanwhile, Nathan Maurer is still back there in the 12th position. He's a little bit of a gap to the next driver ahead of him. That's Jason Morales. Tim Hammond, Robbie Richards stuck in 14th and 15th.
And Tyler, we just had an incredible thing on the racetrack here tonight. Adam Newbert, Brady LaBeouf just ran identical lap times, both fastest lap times of the night, 53.9 for our top 2 drivers on the racetrack last time by. Let's see if they can best that as we're now back down the front stretch here on lap 55, and that was both their fastest laps of the night. See if they can replicate that here across the line. Right right now, 54-1-8 and a 54-1-5. That's how close it is for our top 2 positions on the racetrack.
Yeah, meanwhile, Kyle has Sean Hamilton, Kerry Tribune getting this 5-truck breakaway going. Tyler Daniels leads the next group of trucks, but he has really no pressure behind him from Justin White. A little bit of a gap. Meanwhile, Raul Meza, Brandon Brodfa, who we haven't seen from for a while, he's there. Nate Maurer, though, meanwhile, is in the 11th position. He's catching this group of about 3 trucks all racing very tightly together. He's trying to get himself inside the top 10 as Ron Hunter currently holds the 10th position.
Ron Hunter inside the top 10. Now we're talking about drivers that in the first half of the race, stage 1 and 2, maybe just coasted in the last half of that pack there in the very tail end. Now it's like, okay, now I got something for these guys up the top of the grid. I want to put it on them. Now it's Brandon Bradford's now trying to increase his position. We're riding on board with that 24 machine as he's trying to make a move on the 37. They touch briefly there on the front stretch. He will get the position from Raul Meza there. Brandon Bradford up to 8.
Yeah, Raul Meza stuck on the outside there trying to find space between himself and Ron Hunter and Brandon Bradford. They can't. That means Nathan Maurer is going to get held up a little bit. Maurer looks to the inside of Hunter. Nope. Hunter closes the door there. Hunter and Meza looking to race side by side while Maurer's trying to get through this field as quickly as possible. He's a lot of ground to make up as out front the pack is starting to split apart. Tribune has been dropped off that front train of 5. Make it now 4 trucks up front. Newbert, LaBeouf, S, and Hamilton. Hamilton now holding on for dear life in this lead group.
As Nathan Maurer now is trying to creep inside the top 10. He does just that with a pass to the inside of Raul Meza here on lap 57. As we head down the front stretch right now, you talked about it. Nathan Maurer is a man on a mission now inside the top 10. Wants to get back where he belongs on the top of the grid right now. As we look at Daniels in that 95 machine, I said watch out for Tyler Daniels in that 95. He's been slowly fast here tonight. That's an oxymoron, but he has been just that, just slowly creeping up on everybody on the grid. Now up to 6th.
Yeah, it looks like he's losing a little bit of time, though, to your front 5. Meanwhile, Tim Hammond and Robbie Richards have gotten themselves clear of the big packs. They're trying to chase down this next group of drivers, which includes Raul Meza and Nathan Maurer, who are now trying to chase down Brandon Brodfoot and Justin White, who've gotten a little bit of a gap clear ahead of them. But meanwhile, though, still out front, you still have that 5-truck breakaway, although they're starting to get fractured apart slowly with Newbert, LaBeouf, Hamilton, and Tribune. Right now, though, it looks like LaBeouf and Newbert are trying to break away from the rest, meaning the drivers in front.
Yeah, as we cross the bricks, Adam Newbert will take us down into corner number 1. So is our race leader, Brady LaBeouf, in that 9 machine, and Kyle Hess right there in that 86. But what I'm seeing here now, Tyler, in this run, as we're creeping towards 25 to go here, things are a lot more tighter during this green flag run that we've seen the entire race so far here tonight.
Yeah, so you look, lap 53 was the first lap of green flag racing. That means that it was about 26 to go when we got the green flag, or 36 to go, correction, when we got the green flag. We only think the fuel window is about 25 to 30 tonight, so we're expecting drivers. The pit window is officially open at this point in time. These drivers could be coming down pit road any time now. I'm expecting maybe most of these drivers to split the stage in half. I think that's the smartest way of doing it. Adam Newbert almost making contact with the inside wall there, trying to break the draft of Brady LaBeouf. That was a very close one there down the front straightaway, Will.
And folks, if you're unfamiliar with what takes place, say, in the F1 or IndyCar series, what Tyler just touched on, that snaking technique. What you're trying to do is you're trying to break the draft of the driver behind you. You don't want to have that driver lock onto you down that front stretch, down the back stretch. You see it in IndyCar, you see it in F1. A driver will swing way to the left, swing way to the right down those long stretches to try to break that airstream to the guy behind them. You see it out of Newbert here as we head through the corners there to the front stretch. He'll do that technique, Tyler. He'll swing almost to that inside wall there. You saw him almost make contact with that, and that's in an attempt to break that draft off Brady LaBeouf in the 9.
Yeah, it did not work as Brady LaBeouf will remain glued to the back bumper of that Sick With It Motorsport machine. 25 laps to go now here. We are very comfortably in the fuel window. Now it's just a matter of when drivers think it is the most opportune time to pit. Like I said, well, I'm expecting drivers to come around 20 to 15 to go, but you may see some drivers really stretch it out and try to have super fresh tires late in the run, because you know most of these drivers have one set remaining for these trucks the rest of the way. That top 5 has split up drastically. Nate Maurer has moved up to 9th, gotten by Ron Hunter. He begins to hunt down Justin White and Brandon Broadfoot, but he is currently 5.5 seconds behind your leader, Adam Newberg.
Yeah, that window is starting to close on some of these drivers right now. Our top 5, which is bookended by Kerry Tribute, is now almost 2 seconds off the pace. After Kerry in the 5th position, you go to Tyler Daniels, the 95 and 6 minutes, 5 seconds off the pace with 25 laps to go. That's okay if you don't win the race here tonight. It's going to be a bummer that you don't, Tyler, but there's still a lot on the line inside that top 10.
Definitely a lot on the line inside the top 10. It's not maybe payouts per se this week, but it's more positioning in the season-long playoff picture. You only have 3 more races after this track tonight, and they all come at a variety of different tracks. We'll look at the future schedule here after the race, but coming down that final push of the season, Will, you don't want to leave any points on the table.
No, not at all. We talked about it a few times here tonight. Adam Newberg in that 4 machine been very, very strong here tonight. Definitely one of the top 2 trucks at Indy with 24 laps to go. We touched on it though, Tyler. He needs a win. He needs a win to lock himself into the playoffs to make sure that he's in, and he needs a little bit more there down the stretch here this season as we make it 23 laps to go down to corner number 1. Adam Newberg still our race leader, but we're watching a battle now brewing up between Kerry Tribute and Hamilton in the 89.
It looks like the first driver to make the move down pit road, Jason Morales. He's coming in for his final service of the race already. That's with 23 laps to go. You see that number 5 machine coming down pit road slowly at pit road speed, the tightest pit road we'll see all year long. Meanwhile, back up front, Adam Newberg breaking the draft of Brady LaBeouf, or trying to at least. He's built a little bit of a gap here, almost a second at this point in time, but they have no pressure behind them. Meanwhile, though, Nathan Maurer almost 6 seconds back now of the leaders. It may be too little too late for Nathan Maurer. That final pit stop may have cost him a chance at the race win tonight after what I would say having one of the better trucks most of the night, although he seemed to struggle late there in stage 2.
Yeah, we spoke about it off air there, Tyler, as now this is that money move time right now with 22 laps to go. You need to make sure you get this pit strategy just on the nose to make sure you're in contention. That 971 machine of Nathan Maurer, but we talked about it there. If he pits before the leaders and he's out on the racetrack, do you feel like maybe if some of these drivers break that window of the likes of Adam Newberg and Brady LaBeouf, they can maybe get themselves in contention, seeing as though they will be back out on the racetrack before the leaders?
It all just depends on if you have anyone going with you, because the draft matters quite a bit at a track like this. Running by yourself, you're not going to run the same lap times as you would in a pack. I mean, if you look at our top qualifying times, I mean, they were really, really fast laps, but that was also on a faster, more gripped up track and on completely fresh tires. Fastest lap in qualifying being a 53.48. Fastest lap in the race only being a 53.98. But these drivers will have those fresh, clean tires when they get off pit road. The last set, as you see more drivers in, Tyler Daniels, Dan Hagan, and Jason Stevenson all coming down pit road now. Jason Morales did stay on the lead lap, important to note, when he came down and got his service, and he was outside the top 10. He's a couple seconds up the road. You see him there with the leaders behind him. Tyler Daniels now has come down, Dan Hagan, Jason Stevenson. All these drivers should be finishing up service rather quickly, trying to get back out on track, ensuring they do not go a lap down. Oh, caution's out, caution's out.
Caution, our first caution of the night happens now with less than 20 laps to go here in the over-the-top designs. Brought out our first and only caution of the night so far.
Looks like Robbie Richards just gets loose and comes around on it here, entering the corner. Does he collect anyone else? It looks like everyone else got away cleanly. Oh, could not get it going the way he wanted to. A little bit struggling, but that's our first caution for cause, and that really makes everyone's job a lot easier. Will, you come down if you haven't gotten your service done, you take your tires, you take your fuel. But the drivers who are already on pit road, Tyler Daniels, Jason Morales, Jason Stevenson, Dan Hagan, they have the advantage now. They're on the catbird seat.
Yeah, they really are now, and there's no strategy of pitting before the leaders, pitting after the leaders, pitting early per se. Big solid line heading down pit road now Tyler, as we look at the end of this race, now when that green flag drops, we're going to have less than 20 laps to go here. So this pit stop is the most important pit stop that the drivers will go through here tonight.
And we'll actually take this opportunity to look at your remaining season schedule if we can pull that up real quick while these drivers come down pit road and get their final service of the night done. But I believe we have next week on deck, if I don't mistake myself, Will, the next race on the schedule is Kansas Speedway, and then we go to Worldwide Technology, and then we finish off the regular season at Las Vegas. So these drivers have a couple remaining races here, 3 different-ish tracks. Obviously, Kansas and Vegas are kind of similar in my opinion. Kansas Motor Speedway, Vegas being 1.5 mile tri-oval type scenarios. But Worldwide Technology Racetrack, 2 very different corners, 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4.
Yeah, definitely. And you see this solid one line heading down pit road now here in Indianapolis to see who can win the race off of pit road. So, and you just touched on it there, Tyler. A lot of interesting tracks coming up here after Indy. We spoke about how important it would be to get this race victory here tonight, the prestigious race that it is here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the difficultness that it is to win at a track like this that's so long. You know, you head into these next couple races, Kansas, Vegas, Worldwide. If you can get a victory here, it kind of takes the pressure off having to perform at those tracks.
As drivers are filing in and off of pit road, we'll look to see the race off pit road. I believe you still have a replay camera up. We'll have to get back to the live broadcast, but pit stops have concluded here, and it's a big shift up front. You're looking at a replay right now. And right now, I believe your leader is going to be either Tyler Daniels or Adam Newbert. I can't tell if Newbert got to the line before Daniels did or not. We'll have to wait for iRacing official scoring and timekeeping to fix that for us. I believe we're still looking at a replay if we can get back to live coverage here shortly. But I'm waiting officially. Yep, Adam Newbert officially scored as your race leader. Tyler Daniels was too far behind to be the leader coming back around by the time Newbert got to the timing line. It looks like Tyler Daniels is going to slot in second, maybe third. Yep, looks like Tyler Daniels will be a second place driver.
Yeah, the 95 again there, Tyler, just sneaking into the top 3 all of a sudden now. We've seen that 95 here tonight really pass for positions with ease. We've also seen here tonight, Tyler, the field gets fanned out, so then some of these drivers get overshadowed by the distances between positions. You know, the likes of 95 and Tyler Daniels up 12 spots from the drop of the green flag. Look at Dan Hagan now up 9 spots after that last pit stop. Justin White now up 10 spots from the drop of the green flag. So some of these drivers may have been overshadowed by the distances between positions, but now are in contention inside the top 10 at the conclusion of this race.
Yeah, and it looks like once we get everyone re-gridded here, it'll be half a lap before we go green, and it'll be a 20-lap shootout. Very fitting here to end this race. Or no, my bad, less than 20 laps. It'll be a 17-lap shootout to end this race here tonight. Your leader again after pit stops, Adam Newbert, Tyler Daniels second, Brady LaBeouf third, Sean Hamilton fourth, Kyle Hess fifth, Dan Hagan sixth. Row number 4 will be Nate Maurer and Justin White. And 5 rounding out your top 10 will be Brandon Broadfoot and Tim Hammond. So, field's been shaken up a bit. Nate Maurer sits in 7th, a lot better than what he was last time we saw him on a restart. Do we think he's still too far back to have a chance here?
I don't know. 7th position's a long way, but if you can stay in contention here and make sure you don't get separated from the rest of the field, the 971 will put everything forth to try to get that race victory here tonight. Kiss those bricks here on this wonderful Monday night. Here we go. Tyler Adam Newbert will take us down that long front stretch here. All the fans will get their cameras out for pictures as we're going green flag racing for the last 17 laps of the race. Adam Newbert takes us down to corner number 1.
Tyler Daniels with a poor restart. Sean Hamilton and Kyle Hess will both get by him. Nathan Maurer looking to get inside the top 5. Daniels drops to 5th when the restart goes from 2nd to 5th. But it looks like he'll slide just in front of Maurer as they enter corner number 2. They're in a company behind with Dan Hagan and Justin White. Meanwhile, though, Adam Newbert leads Brady LaBeouf down the back straightaway. Newbert breaking the draft, driving all the way to the bottom. Brady LaBeouf's just going to hold steady on the outside. Sean Hamilton slots in the 3rd, Hess 4th. And Tyler Daniels rounding out your top 5 down the back straightaway.
You start to see the leaders separate right now. Adam Newbert and that 4 machine's taking Bray LaBeouf for a ride. The top 2 are now separated from 3rd position of Sean Hamilton in that 89 machine. As we come around, corner number 4, down the front stretch right now. Adam Newbert still our race leader. Bray LaBeouf's trying to the inside, though. Here on the front stretch, Bray LaBeouf using that Bayou energy to try to get around Adam Newbert in that 4 machine. We're side by side, down into corner number 1. Bray LaBeouf, take the position. Our race leader down to 1.
It's so hard to pass here. That may have been the pass to win or get control of this race. But Adam Newbert comes back through the short chute to the inside through turn number 2. Bray LaBeouf, Adam Newbert side by side for the lead. LaBeouf gets loose off of 2. Newbert gets loose off of 2. They'll drag race down the back straightaway, and that'll allow Sean Hamilton, Kyle Hess, and Nathan Maurer, who's now in 5th position, to slowly reel them in. Bray LaBeouf's going to have to back out here entering turn number 3. Newbert takes the lead.
Yeah, Bray LaBeouf did not want to do that. He did not want to give up that position. You saw how long he waited to back behind Adam Newbert in that 4. He's seen what happened here this race. If he lets that 4 machine get away from him, he can separate the entire race. Adam Newbert's trying to break that draft down the front stretch, trying that stake technique, but there goes Bray LaBeouf to the outside in the 9 machine. He's going to try it to the path on the outside here into 1. Not going to have enough, though. He's going to follow the 4 around corner number 1.
He's hoping to get a better exit off of 1, have a better run through 2 here. This time by Bray LaBeouf will actually have to back up his entry. He's going to get tight behind Adam Newbert, not the run off of 2 he needs. That allows Newbert to make it about a truck length, maybe a truck length and a half here down the back straightaway. Adam Newbert's going to hold control of this race this time by his Toyota Tundra Stick With It Motorsports number 4. Bray LaBeouf trying to hold serve in that Chevrolet number 9 Mission 1 esports machine. He'll close the gap here through turn 3.
Close the gap as Tim Hammond right there in that 69 machine trying to increase his position. Going to make a move on the 2 machine of Justin White. He has some drivers behind him, though. Tyler Daniels, who we just spoke about, starting 2nd there on that restart. Now all the way down to 8th here tonight. A lot of moving parts behind our race leaders of Adam Newbert and Bray LaBeouf, both very fast at the top of the grid.
Bray LaBeouf got a little bit to the inside of Newbert, but not enough to make the pass there. Entering 1, it's a half truck length there as they enter turn number 2. Bray LaBeouf still looking to make a move here on Adam Newbert. He's not going to be close enough this time by. Meanwhile, the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th is kind of spread out. Sean Hamilton, Kyle Hess, and Nate Maurer. Justin White's over a 2nd behind Nate Maurer. He's in 6th position. He's got company behind him and Tim Hammond. Bray LaBeouf trying very hard to get by Adam Newbert. Overdrives into 3. He's going to get tight and wash up the track here.
Bray LaBeouf, this is the time to make that pass. We come around the last corner here, heading towards the front stretch here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, heading towards those beautiful bricks here on that front stretch. Bray LaBeouf, if he has momentum coming off of 4, he tries to the inside. Adam Newbert closes the door. He tries to the inside once again. Adam Newbert to get out of the way of the 9 machines. If he has enough, going down to corner number 1, he does not. He will follow the 4 around the first corner.
Bray LaBeouf is just not able to find the exact time he needs, but he is right on the bumper of Newbert here in the short chute. He goes to the inside turn number 2. It's going to be a Adam Newbert trying to get to the bottom. Can't do so. Bray LaBeouf is inside, but Adam Newbert will clear him off of 2. They'll come down the back straightaway. That's going to hurt LaBeouf's run down the entire back straightaway. Newbert should hold charge here into 3 and 4. In this battle, he's going to allow 3rd through 5th to close up on these leaders. They are not getting away. They're still running fast laps, but they are not able to pull away from 3rd through 5th as much as they want to.
In what is reminiscent of an Indy 500 finish here, or a heavy round after round with one another, as Bray LaBeouf now to the inside of Adam Newbert here, down the front stretch, down into corner number 1. Another pass for the lead as Bray LaBeouf, now our race leader, down to corner number 1.
Bray LaBeouf charges in hard there in 1. That's going to give Adam Newbert the run off of 1 in the short chute. Adam Newbert's going to look to his inside. Can't make a move here through 2. Adam's hoping to get a big run down this back straightaway. Bray LaBeouf, it's a little bit loose off the corner. That's going to allow Adam Newbert to have a run down the back straightaway.
Cannot open a window for just a second and let that breeze in. He doesn't want to let Adam Newbert back into the lead as Bray LaBeouf takes us around the last couple corners here to that front stretch that we all know and love. Adam Newbert will try to follow him down to corner number 4. Right now, he is right on the back bumper of Bray LaBeouf. Bray LaBeouf with a huge wiggle off the corner.
Bray LaBeouf with a massive slide through 4. He's been getting loose off of 4 and off of 2 pretty consistently. That's going to allow Adam Newbert to get to his inside and make the pass again for the lead as they enter 1, this time by. Meanwhile, the position is 3 through 5 consistently Hamilton, Hess, Maurer, but they are gaining on these two leaders as they keep passing each other back and forth. Hamilton's there. He's closed within a half a second.
As you start to see that Congo line of drivers behind these top two, they're trying to catch up to the leaders to throw their names in the mix. As we head down the backstretch right now, Adam Newbert still a race leader into 3. We haven't seen the battles tame just yet, as Brady LeBuff's right there in your picture. If you're watching along with us here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, we want to appreciate you tuning in to tonight's race, which has been a very clean and exciting race here tonight, Tyler, with only one caution on the racetrack.
Yeah, only one caution for cause, and then the 2 stage cautions. A little bit worried Brady LeBuff with the amount of sliding he's done has destroyed that right rear and maybe even the right front. He seemed to struggle a little bit getting to the bumper of Newbert there in 3 and 4, but he seemed to have found it again there in 1 and 2 this time. Brady LeBuff making a truck length and a half between the two as they go through the short chute into turn number 2. But here's where LeBuff struggles, and it's off of 2. Newbert gets about a 2 to 3 truck length lead and is able to maintain that throughout most of the back straightaway, although I would say that's probably Brady LeBuff's best 2 exit yet.
Watching with us here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, you can see that gap between Brady LeBuff and the 9 and the 89 of Sean Hamilton. It is quite significant there. It doesn't look significant live here on the picture, but you can see how much of a gap that is, Tyler. And if these drivers keep battling out like it is, that gap may close just a little bit. As we have a battle, you see those cars right there inside the top 5. Sean Hamilton, Kyle Hess, Nathan Maurer will be our top 5, 3, 4, 5 on the racetrack. But another battle for the lead down in corner number 1. Brady LeBuff to the inside, and we are still side by side around the corner. Brady LeBuff barely clears the 4. They almost touch as we dig down to corner number 2. Off of 2, down the backstretch. Brady LeBuff, our race leader.
I would have hated to have been LeBuff's spotter there clearing him through the short chute because I don't think he was clear, but he made sure he was clear. Newbert's going to get the run down the back straightaway this time by, but it's trucking too far back to make a move into 3. But here's where Newbert has been strong, and that's in turns 3 and 4. This time, though, he misses his apex a little bit. That gap's going to grow through turn number 3. Coming to turn 4, can Newbert find the apex? This time he does, but so does Brady LeBuff. That means it's going to be a pretty much a wash. Newbert's only advantage down the front straightaway will be the draft, which Brady LeBuff will try to break.
And with 9 laps to go, we are counting it down. Make it 8 laps to go as Brady LeBuff in the 9 is now scrapping with Adam Newbert in that 4 machine. Into the first corner, we watch the battle to stay inside the top 5 behind these leaders of Sean Hamilton, Kyle Hess, and Nathan Maurer. But don't look now. Tim Hammond has caught this pack and is running very, very fast lap times. Actually, just 1/10 faster. Actually, way faster. Only 5/10 off of our race leader, running a 55.39. Brady LeBuff just ran a 55.34. So very fast out of that 69 machine just outside the top 5.
LeBuff's into the wall. Newbert into the wall. Off of turn number 3. Both of them hit the wall pretty significantly. You see the damage to the right side of Brady LeBuff's number 9 machine. Adam Newbert also has damage as well. How much will this affect both drivers? That 4 behind them trying to gain. They should have seen both of those 2 lead drivers hitting the wall between 3 and 4. Pretty significant contact. I thought the battling between the 2 of them might have destroyed the right front. It looks as if these 2 trucks have gotten super tight, and it's only going to get worse now that they've made contact. And look who's in 3rd. It's Nathan Maurer, the man who finds himself in the position whenever he needs to. He's a 2.5 back of 2nd place right now, making it 2 seconds back of 1st, but I do not believe he's had any damage tonight. Let's see if he can close down the leaders here.
No, and there is a train coming, and it's rolling round the bend here tonight. There's a huge pack of trucks that are coming behind these leaders. They have to know after that mistake on the racetrack that these drivers will catch up to them eventually. Will they have enough laps to make a pass on these top 2 drivers? That is yet to be seen, as we're going to make it 6 laps to go across the line. Brady LeBuff will take us down to corner number 1.
Nathan Maurer gained almost a full second on that last lap. Make it a full second on Brady LeBuff, half a second on Adam Newbert. Brady LeBuff missed the corner in turn number 3. Newbert to the inside here in the short chute through 1 and 2. Now on the inside through turn number 2. Brady LeBuff does not have the right foot, I think, to hold serve on the outside. He's almost going to touch the wall. They're going to be side by side. And who's that going to bring into the picture? Nathan Maurer. Maurer is coming. Caution's out.
Caution is out with 6 laps to go. Nathan Maurer had a huge run building there, that 971 machine. And that's Sean Hamilton in the 89 that just brought out only our second caution of the night. And Sean Hamilton was having a pretty good drive himself.
Really hard because I heard just a collision and he clobbers. You see him already into the wall there. It's hard to tell if he did it on his own. It looks like, yep, all by himself. He's going to pow the wall there, knock the fence down, and Hess is going to get by, and that's going to be the end of his night. He just got stuck on the wall, and that is all she wrote. Thankfully, he's able to tow before anyone else got involved, but Hamilton's night is done.
And I know we were all disappointed in the latest installment of the Matrix movies, but if we can ride on board with Tim Hammond in the 69 machine, we'll see what the Matrix actually looks like there. As you see, Sean Hamilton in the 89 is going to make contact with the wall. He's going to hit the wall pretty hard here. He's going to bounce right here. You'll see right on the corner of your screen, if you can see it there, the 69 of Tim Hammond is going to slide right by there, just by the very smallest of margins.
Yeah, that was a very close incident indeed, and something that Hamilton's going to be kicking himself. It looks like his truck got caught where that wall changed into like a little bit of a guard wall. Meanwhile, though, your lead pack, the race is definitely far from over. We know LaBeouf and Newbert are both damaged. Wow, what a move by Hammond. But LaBeouf and Newbert are both damaged. They both are on significantly worse tires than Maurer. Maurer has been fast for the last 3 to 4 laps, but he'll have Kyle Hess and Hammond behind him. Up that inside line, maybe, backing up Maurer, preventing him from getting a run. Or do you take the outside and hope that your teammate Kyle Hess can push you clear to the lead and run the risk that Maurer and Newbert get hooked up and go to the front?
And that's the thing that you have to watch out for here. You know, Brady LaBeouf, Adam Newbert, clearly the top 2 trucks here tonight. But with that damage on those trucks, we saw what was starting to happen there before that caution flag flew. The 971 was gaining ground and fast. So if the 971 can waste no time to get around the 4 and the 9, he could check out from these top 2 trucks here tonight. But as you mentioned, if you have a teammate behind you pushing you along, that can be a huge advantage as well. Well, with only 4 laps to go here tonight, the over-the-top designs 200, it is the best yet here from Indianapolis. This old school track, one of the oldest, as you mentioned, Tyler, always brings out very exciting finishes, whether it's in the Indy cars, whether it's the NASCAR. It's always a blast to watch the conclusion of the race from the Brickyard here in Indianapolis.
Let's take a quick minute to shout out some of our viewers tonight. Justin Lumpkin cheering on his Sick With It Motorsports teammates. Obviously, he unable to participate tonight. He is stuck at work. But also, a shout out to our fill-in for you the past few weeks, Will, and that's Wesley Outland, helping us out here at Nazareth. He's helping broadcast with you now Thursday nights in the Xfinity Series full-time. So just a great help for all of us broadcasters here in the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, and we appreciate all he's done with us, Nazareth as a whole. And then obviously Keith Bradley, competitor in the Friday Night Triple M Pulling Truck Series. I'm unsure if he runs the Thursday Night Series as well, but I'd call him a good buddy of mine. We've had our on-track banner and our off-track banner, and definitely 2 guys who pretty more alike than dislike. In my opinion, but we're coming down. It looks like we'll get the field stacked up here 2 by 2. We'll have a natural green-white checkered to finish off this race, and Brady LaBeouf takes the outside lane, Will.
Yeah, big move out of Brady LaBeouf on the outside. Adam Newbert, the inside. He's got Nathan Maurer, the 971, behind him on this restart. Kyle Hess will be on the outside, pushing Brady LaBeouf along. But right now, currently, as it stands, Justin White will be our biggest mover, our Hard Charger Award winner, up 14 spots. We'll drop the green flag in the 5th position.
That's all Mission 1 Esports on that outside row. Brady LaBeouf, Kyle Hess, and Justin White. And then they have Garage View behind them, a driver who's been fast but pretty inconsistent so far tonight. Zach Hartwig also saying there's a wall out there, leaders. Yes, Zach, they found that out the hard way. And Nathan Maurer is now in a position to maybe steal a win tonight, Will, because I think we'd both agree that Brady LaBeouf and Adam Newbert have been the class of the field most of this race.
They really have. They have put on a clinic here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, And as the fans in the chat here watching along with us here in the NASCAR 360 Racing Network, they have seen it firsthand as well. It's been a heavyweight battle, a prize fight, if you will. Back and forth, trading positions, trading blows now off that top side wall. So we'll see if one of these trucks can put themselves in victory lane.
Ray LaBeouf waiting for the pace truck to leave the racing surface so he can hit the gas when he wants to. He has Miles to his rear. Those two are going to try to get going together. Adam Newbert spins the tires here on the restart. Multiple drivers spin the tires. Smoke, it looked like contact with the wall. Mauer's going to try and put him 3 wide here for second place. Gives a shove to the back of Adam Newbert. 3 wide into turn 1. Nope, he backs out of it.
Big battle right now with 2 laps to go. Brady LaBeouf's trying to separate himself after Adam Newbert spun the tires on that restart. Adam Newbert, though, in the 4 has now solidified himself in second. Still battles ensuing as we head down the backstretch here with 2 laps to go.
Kyle Hess clears Nathan Mauer. Contact with the wall deep back in the field. That's irrelevant to the race up front, though. The real battle is right there between Adam Newbert and Brady LaBeouf. They're going to be side by side. No, Newbert can't get there through 3. They're going to make it to the short street this time. Newbert's going to have to make a run here in 3 more large straightaways. Those are going to be his opportunities to pass. Brady LaBeouf will lead them off of 4, looking for the white flag this time by. Right now it's LaBeouf, Newbert, Hess, Mauer, Hammond, your top 5. Contact with the wall further back. Unsure who that is. I believe that may be Justin White. Meanwhile, though, back out front, that is Adam Newbert to the outside of Brady LaBeouf. Passing for the lead here. Can he get it to stick on the outside in 1?
Brady LaBeouf to the inside. Right now we are side by side for the race lead. They touch off of 1, still side by side into 2. We are drag racing for the race victory here at the Brickyard. Down the backstretch, side by side, Adam Newbert, Brady LaBeouf in the 9 machine as we head down to corner number 3.
Brady LaBeouf's going to have 1 shot at it. I don't know if he has the speed anymore to do it. Adam Newbert leading into 3. Brady LaBeouf looks to the inside. Kyle Hess is there in the 3rd position. Nathan Mauer 4th. Tim Hammond 5th. But it looks like it's Adam Newbert all day. He has a significant lead entering 4, unless Brady LaBeouf can get the run of a lifetime. He hits the apron there. He has a run. He may have a shot here down the front straightaway. Brady LaBeouf trying to reel in Adam Newbert, but it's going to be too little, too late. Adam Newbert wins the over-the-top designs 200 at the Brickyard.
Yeah, very close finish there. We see some scrappiness between Tim Hammond and Nathan Mauer at the line. That's the finish just inside the top 5. You see who crossed the line. Tyler Daniels crashes. Brian Chu crashes across the line as well. We have trucks flipping and flying down the front stretch here at the Brickyard. What a finish it has been here in the over-the-top designs 200 as Adam Newbert gets that key win he's been trying for all season long, Tyler. That's going to put him in prime position the rest of the way.
Yeah, looking on board Brian Shooter, see what happened down the front straightaway. I know many times last laps big wrecks happen down the front straightaways, which is so narrow, and the disaster happens there. It looks like Brian Shooter gets caught up before he even gets to the line, and he's just along for the ride at this point. He'll go upside down. Hopefully he's not wearing VR, but a little bit of contact between a lot of drivers there after the race. Uncertain if there's maybe some tensions brewing, but Adam Newbert getting the win he needed. A big point tonight. Obviously, he is not locked in with a win since he hasn't run the minimum number of races, but that finish should ensure he should be inside the top 16 at the end of this week.
Yeah, running through that top 10 finishers here tonight. We have Adam Newbert taking a big win. Brady LaBeouf has been a top 2 truck here, does finish 2nd. Kyle Hess in that 86 machine finishes 3rd. Nathan Mauer in 4th. Tim Hammond in a 69 finishes 5th. A top 5 finish that Tim Hammond's been wanting here to get his season rocking and rolling in the right direction. Kerry Tribute in the 7 will finish 6th. Chris Blanchard, a good run out of that 14, will finish 7th. Tyler Daniels in that 95 will finish 8th. Cody Knott up 9 spots from the drop of the green flag will finish 9th. And Justin White in that 2 machine will finish 10th.
Rounding out the rest of your field, Brandon Bullock 11th, Ron Hunter 12th. Jason Morales, after a kind of an up and down race, he'll finish 13th. Donnie Lyons 14th. Raul Mezzo moves up 5 positions. He'll finish 15th. Jason Stevenson 16th. Brian Chu 17th. Michael Allen 18th. Dan Hagan 19th. Robert Richards rounding out your top 20. And your final drivers who started tonight's race, Brandon Broadfoot, Sean Hamilton, and Eric Zimmerman rounding out your field. We'd also like to take this moment to keep Steve Barnett and his family in our prayers, going through some family difficulties in the meanwhile, as well as Jonathan Pugh, whose daughter needs prayers his daughter is currently in the ER, so wishing the best for all of them. But we'll be moving on towards our post-race interviews with our top three here shortly. Obviously, Kyle Hess would come home third, like we said. Brady LaBeouf second, Adam Newbert first. So we'll be talking with these drivers tonight and getting their thoughts on what I would say is a very entertaining race. Maybe a little bit of a lull in the middle due to just the excellent driving talent. They ran green flag laps, lap after lap, but the last 20 laps were anything but clean. Very chaotic there, Will.
Very chaotic indeed, and it seems to always happen every week here, Tyler, in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Stage 1 and 2, we've seen a melodic pace, if you will, very calm. You don't see a lot of passing taking place. Might see a couple battles on the race, a couple 3-wides. Stage 2, same process there, very methodical. Adam Newbert, Brady LaBeouf. But then that last bit of racing there, once we throw in those pit stops, those pit strategies, that's when the door really opens for some chaos, for some chaotic racing there at the end. We had exactly that. We had the leaders brushing the top side wall. We had them beating and banging each other there towards the finish as well, almost relinquishing the lead that they had to Nathan Maurer, the 971. What a finish it was here at the Brickyard as Adam Newbert in that Ford machine. We talked about it to start off this broadcast, Tyler. He needed to win, and he got just that here tonight.
Yes, he did. But right now, I am standing by with your third place finisher, Kyle Hess, from the 86 Mission 1 Esports machine. Kyle, maybe not the start of the race that you wanted. Weren't up in the top 5 throughout stage 1, but stage 2, your truck really came alive. It seemed you got some track position, and you were pretty up front for most of that final stage there. Was there anything else you could have done to get by Brady or Adam there at the end?
Man, maybe a few more laps in practice. Those two guys are fast. For me, like it's kind of how I wanted the race for me to go. Is like I'm not really big on getting to the front as fast as I can. I know it's more for points, but I just kind of like making my way through the field, and I don't think I had really too far to go tonight. So basically, it was just trying to like survive and save my tires and just try to stay with a group of guys for draft, because if you got separated, guys who are packed up, they start getting away from you and everything.
Kyle, I know you and Brady are teammates, and who decided to take that outside lane on that final restart. What was the discussion like with you two on that final restart? And also, it seemed a lot of drivers spun the tires there. 2 laps to go. Old tires played a factor. How difficult was it to get the power down?
For me, it wasn't really that hard for me. Me and Brady had good timing on that one. We run with each other for long enough, so we got on it. And I think I got him a good enough push, and apparently he got him out there. But I think Adam got back around him. So got to give it up to Adam and Brady. They put on one great race. I'm just glad that I got to where I did to put myself in that picture.
Well, we thank you for talking with us tonight, Kyle. And before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Sponsors like Nazareth 360, Millie's, Hoopties, Triple M, Over the Top. Let's see, 213simware.com, Pulse Poppers, Sim Racer Hub. Everybody who helps put this together and man, we just appreciate y'all, and we appreciate our sponsors for me allowing me to have somewhere to go on some of my free time to come race. So I do really appreciate.
Well, we appreciate having you back full time in one of our Nazareth series, and we wish you the best of luck throughout the remainder of this season. Kyle, great talking with you as always, and have a great night.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a great night too.
And now standing by with Will Tiller is our second place finisher, Brady LaBeouf.
Yes, sir. I am joined by the boss man himself, using a little bit of that Bayou energy here tonight. Brady, you don't get the job done finishing second, but boy, what a heavyweight battle it was with Adam Newbert in that 4 race long. You two were 1-2 trading positions, trading blows off that top side wall. Take us through that incredible battle with the Ford machine here tonight.
Yeah, man, it was fun, for sure. Me and Adam did a great job, just racing each other hard and clean there at the end, didn't wreck each other. But that last run, just something was just odd. I know I was way better than Adam in 3 and 4, and every time I would get the run coming off of 4 and beat him into 1, my truck just got loose. He get right up on my bumper, and I just couldn't really get off the corner coming off of 2, and he get the run and pass me back up, and then it seemed like he was kind of taking it a little bit easy in 3 to figure it out, and I would just get another run and pass him, and then we both ended up smacking the wall because I was trying to figure out coming off of 2, and the wall just got us both right there. Then it was kind of just just trying to get to the end of the race so that we could make it there, and then that caution kind of saved us to give us both a chance with the damage that we both had. And I just didn't have any straightaway speed after I had that my right front damage hitting the wall, and he had minimum damage than I did, and he was able to pass me, and man, it sucks to give that one away.
Yeah, credible battle indeed for us up here in the booth. And Brady, you just spoke about it too as well. Once you made that contact with the top side wall, it was hard to hold off the 4. He did sustain a little bit of damage himself, but it looked like who was the last man standing there at the end. And Brady, I wanted to ask you there at that All-Star race last weekend, of course, a non-points race, more like a fun race. With having that DQ at the very end, did that give you any extra motivation to come out here tonight and put forth an excellent effort, which you did, finishing inside the top 2? Did that disappointing result last week give you any extra motivation to put that 9 in victory lane?
Oh, yeah, I would say so. I mean, I just last week was just a complete mistake on my part. I was paying attention to other things going on instead of worrying about that last restart and focusing and being dialed in. So, you learn your lessons, and I definitely learned from last week. That was the first time I've ever done something like that. But I just move on from it, kind of put it in the past, and move on to Indy. And man, I don't even know where we're at next week, but put this one behind me, and hopefully be in victory lane pretty soon.
Yeah, I was just about to touch on it there, Brady. You talking about keeping focus and keeping that line. You have a pretty good season going forth here now. You have a win on the season. You have a top 2 here tonight. How can you keep this momentum going here in these next couple of weeks as we look forward to those playoff races here coming up in just I would say about a month's time?
I think the big part, and I think others may take it for granted, but just qualifying well. Practicing, getting in the session early and practicing, trying to figure out a hot lap, and then working on 15, 20 lap runs. But I think qualifying is a big part of my success. You get that track position, you stay up there, you can see if you're, for instance, I think I started second or third tonight. So I was able to kind of see what Nate was doing that first run. Then I got to see a little bit of what Adam was doing the second run, and it just helps you when you can learn from guys like that.
It definitely does. Well, Brady LaBeouf, you finished second here tonight. Another excellent run out of that 9 machine. And Brady, before we let you go here tonight, get ready for next week's race here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Anybody you'd like to thank that helped you get to this top 2 here tonight, or any sponsors that made this race possible for you?
Oh, absolutely. My wife and kids for letting me take Monday nights off, and being able to do this with you guys. It's a fun league. This Monday night series is top notch. All the guys that come out and do it, it's fun. You guys in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network booth, Adam, Tyler, Will, you guys do a phenomenal job. All the guys at Nazra, NRE Power Systems, they always have my back. They're on the truck every week. Pulse Poppers, Millie's, Restaurant and Catering, Butt Kicker, Over the Top Designs, just to name a few. But Blanchard's Towing, those guys always help us out in one race cars. But real quick, I want to get a shout out to Steve Bornett. I know he couldn't make it tonight. I know he was having some issues, but he definitely needs some prayers tonight for his grandma, and we're all at Nazareth praying for him and his family at this time.
Yes, sir. And also Jonathan Pugh as well. We got word that his daughter is in the ER, so he needs those prayers and good vibes sent his way as Brady. We appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight. Congratulations on that top 2 finish. Quite a show it was for us up here in the booth. can only imagine what it was behind the wheel of that truck here tonight. But Brady, we appreciate you, and have a great rest of your week, my man.
You too. Thank you, guys.
Meanwhile, I am now joined by your race winner of the Over the Top Designs 200 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and that is Mr. Adam Newbert. Adam, we talked to you after stage one. We thought you were the dominant truck all night, and then Brady LaBeouf kind of ran away with stage two. You were kind of reeling him there in late, didn't have enough to get it done. But coming off of turn number 3, both of you get into the wall with about 6-7 laps to go, and Nathan Maurer starts closing in on the two of you for the lead. Were you hoping for a caution, or were you hoping for it to stay green and run the risk of him maybe running you guys down?
So that was so much fun. I don't know. I don't really, honestly, when we both hit the wall, I was like, crap, our race is over. Our race is done. Neither one of us is going this race now because I saw Nathan, he was coming. And I was like, if this thing goes green, he's going to get us. And then the caution come out, and I was like, I just kept thinking through the whole caution. I was like, I don't know if he can get us in 2 laps. So I was like, we've cooled down these tires now. We may just be able to get away on this restart and go. And I got a terrible restart. Nathan got a good one. I threw a block on him on the restart. And then I just tried to defend in the one and tried to get clear Kyle, got clear Kyle, and then just try to focus on getting Brady. And then me and Brady, that was probably, if that wasn't fun for y'all to watch or the fans watching, I don't know what was, because that was the most fun I've had racing in a long time. I got a ton of respect for Brady. Even after that race, even before that race, that was just so much fun right there.
Yeah, the two of you just passing back and forth lap after lap throughout stages 3, stage 1 early on for a little bit, but mostly the last 25 laps to the finish there, especially after the Sean Hamilton caution. It was just a great battle between the two of you, and definitely the battle of the season so far in my mind. Glad you enjoyed it as thoroughly as we did up here in the booth. But I have to say, getting away with the win obviously helps you enjoy that battle just a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, it does. I know Brady, I think he had fun too. I know it sucks to be second, but I was talking to him right before he got pulled up. He was talking about how much fun it was. We were just talking about it and everything. And yeah, Brady was second stage. He was just class of the field second stage. I kind of found something at the end of the second stage that I thought I was going to have on him. And I was starting to reel him in right there, but the stage ended. But he was just, he got out in front and he got about a second lead. And I was like, man, he's going to burn his tires off eventually. He's going to burn them off. And he just never did. I mean, I couldn't. He was just so fast in stage 2 right there. I knew when we started stage 3 that I needed to get around him and get into clean air. And that's exactly what I tried to do at the beginning of stage 3. And then, the caution come out. I don't know. I was kind of hoping for green flag pit stops, but we didn't get those. But just tried to stay in front of Brady right there in the clean air.
Well, Adam, I will say another part of the race that I just found to be absolutely entertaining was just the battles and just how well you guys were composed. Even after you both hit the wall, you guys were able to kind of just get it back together really quickly and effectively, and just watching you all control the field. But you came into this race 30-plus points outside the cutoff. I know technically you don't qualify with winning your weeks. I believe you've missed a few too many races. But I believe after tonight, you are now officially inside that top 16. And obviously that win does help you out in the long run. Are we going to see, you moving forward, and we're expecting more top 5s and maybe more wins out of you in the final 3 races of the season?
So, man, it seems like we finally caught some good luck here this week. This is 2 wins in a row for us, going back to Friday night. Not going back to last Monday, but Friday night we won, and then tonight we won. So this is 2 in a row. This is awesome. I really hope we're in the top 16 in points, because that's kind of been my goal here. I know that I can't make it in on wins. I was like, I got to get to the top 16 in points, got to have good stage finishes. So that'd be awesome if we're in the top 16. And then, I missed a few races, so that's hurt us. If I wouldn't have missed a few races, this wouldn't be a problem, but stuff happens. So hopefully we just put together some good finishes. Kansas is next week, and this was one of my favorite tracks right here, but Kansas is my favorite track. So next week, I really hope to get another good finish.
I'll keep an eye out on you next week at Kansas Motor Speedway. But before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Man, I got to thank Brady for racing me just with so clean and so respectful. And, I got to thank him first, because he definitely, at some moments, he probably could have bumped me up a little bit, but he just raced me so clean. Got to thank y'all up here in the booth. Good to talk to y'all again. Got to thank my sponsor, Ladan Co. and Stick With It Motorsports, A's Lawn and Landscaping, Millie's Landing, Darren's no gun repair. There's somebody else I'm missing. But yeah, I mean, just my girlfriend, my family, my friends watching. Yeah.
Well, Adam, that's 2 in a row in the Nazareth family of racing series, but we want to let you go enjoy that win tonight, and we'll look forward to hopefully talking with you next week after a good night at Kansas.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Adam Newbert. Your race winner of the Over the Top Designs 200 live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And Will, I will say, an absolutely entertaining race through and through. Just an absolutely spectacular finish. Couldn't have ended any other way.
No, it couldn't have. When we saw on stage number 1 was fanned out, we were talking about the splits between the leaders and the rest of the field. Stage number 2, we started to see those gaps close just a little bit. Those splits and those lap times started to slow down, started to see the rest of the field catch up. We threw pit stops into play as well. That seems to always reshuffle these races up just a little bit. That included some guys to work up through the grid as well, get some top 10 finishes out of there. Nathan Maurer, though, on the flip side, he had to go outside of the top 10, work his way back up through the field, still scraped out a good finish here tonight. But boy, what a heavyweight battle it was out of Adam Newbert and Brady LaBeouf. One of them had to win. It's a shame they both couldn't win tonight's race, but a good race win for Adam Newbert, who kind of needed it more to say. That's kind of bad to say, but needed it more than Brady LaBeouf here tonight, with Brady already having a win on the season. Adam Newbert, though, you just heard it in that post-race interview that you just did there, Tyler. This might ignite a little fire underneath the seat of the 4. We might see him in victory lane again here this season.
Yeah, he has to be one of the hottest drivers right now in the Nazareth family of racing series, winning last Friday in the Triple M Pulling Truck Series, I believe, at Texas Motor Speedway, and then getting the win here tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We look forward to next week at Kansas Motor Speedway for the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Will, I know it's been a fun night, but we have to look forward to our next race as the hunt and the chase for the playoffs continues. 3 races remaining in the regular season. I'm looking forward to every single one of these races down the line, the end of the way. But again, Will, an absolute blast. Glad to have you back in the booth with me tonight.
Yes, sir. It was a blast to be back up here, and what a race it is to get back up into the booth from a track that is Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tyler, you just touched on a key aspect with only a few races to go here in this next month, about 3 races here in the next 3 weeks. We're really going to start to see that playoff field start to solidify there. As we talked about at the start of this broadcast here, a few of these drivers are now starting to see their playoff hopes start to slide away here as we creep towards that cutoff.
Yeah, one of those drivers being Cody Knott, who's probably on the outside looking in after this week, thanks to the performance by Adam Newbert. But with that, Will, we bid the broadcast viewers adieu this fine evening in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. I'm Tyler Ditmer in the broadcast booth with me this time. Will Tiller. Hopefully the rest of the year we won't miss any more races with you, Will. Enjoy having you in the booth. I look forward to having you all tune in next week at Kansas Motor Speedway. 3 races remain in the chase for the playoffs here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Again, congrats to Adam Newbert, your winner in the Over the Top Designs 200 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And we wish you all a very happy and pleasant evening. Good night.